Yes, people! Welcome back to GNA TV and that second show in 2 days for you guys, man. First, we gave you the Prem show. Now I'm giving you the preview show to the Southampton versus Chelsea game. We will be going through everything in regards to this game. Tuchel's press conference. We'll be talking about the bulletin. We'll be going through the head-to-heads. We'll be going through our proposed lineup. I'll be joined by certain individuals. We're also going to be talking a little bit to start off with regards to the news earlier on today in regards to Todd Boehly and the new, new person that's joined the group of that as well. We're also going to talk a little bit of comments from Matt Law as well prior to this as well. There is so much to go through today. But I need you guys to make sure you smash the like button. Smash that like button, please. Let's get this over 30 likes. Please subscribe if you're new to the channel as well. Commitment, guys. The commitment is here. The commitment for you guys to give you these type of shows each and every time. I'm here, man. You ever want to talk Chelsea? I'm here. But before we move forward, you know what time it is? Let's cue that intro. Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV. I hope you guys are well wherever it is that you may be around the world. And I shouldn't be as happy as I am, but because it is Friday, because we're like going into the weekend, back to football. I know Chelsea have not been great as of recent. We've not been winning games. I understand that. But in all seriousness, I just love football. Like, football is our life. Part of our life, shall I say. You know, when football's not on, it is very hard times. Football's on, and I'm happy. Winning or losing, Chelsea through and through. Big up to everyone that's in the chat already. We're going to talk a little bit about the Todd Boehly news to start with first. Some news from Matt Law in what he came out with today on the on the Telegraph, I think it was the Telegraph. Let me check. Telefootball. In regards to telefootball as well. So we're going to talk a bit about what Matt Law's comments were, talk about a little bit of Todd Boehly and the news we heard today. Then we're going to fly straight into the preview show for this game, talk about certain players that are maybe, say, at the end, but, you know, really under pressure now. And I'm talking about from a personal standpoint for me. I don't know if you guys feel the same about certain individual players as well, but it's just certain players that I feel are kind of just not good enough for this club and are really cutting it short. They're really cutting it short. But I want to say big up to everyone that's in the chat already. Nice to see you all here. We will open up the lines as well a bit later on in the show. Actually, do you know what? I forgot to send this to one individual quickly. While I do that, Winter Surfer is in the house as well today. It's not just me on my own today. Usually it's me on my own and you have to stare at me for 30, 45 minutes. But today, I thought, let's go through the news with the Mandem. Let's go through the news with the Mandem. Some of the Mandem. Like, we'll get the rest of the Mandem in later. But, you know, at the beginning, I need a couple of other people's thoughts, you know, other people's thinking and thoughts. But how are we doing, Winter Surfer? How's your day been, mate?
Yeah, all good, man. Like I say, Friday. So,
Friday.
It's Friday. So another
Is
end
that
of the week.
Friday, yeah. Saturday, Sunday, what?
Yeah, it's all good.
Right, let's go through the chat quickly, and then we're going to delve straight into some of the stuff that I've got set up for us today. AW Designer, nice to see you in the house. Devin as well, still hurting after the beginning of the week. Listen, like I said, people wondering why I'm so buzzy. We've lost our last 2 games, but football means everything to a lot of us. Do you know what I mean? I'm just happy that the fact that there is football, win or lose, from Chelsea through and through, mate. It doesn't mean anything to me, you know. Big up to Eric Blue in the house. He says it's time to bounce back. You are right, brother. Gary Zero says badly need a performance and a result, but defo a performance. For me, I think it's the other way around, Gary. I think I'd prefer the win rather than the performance. I mean, Winter Surfer, I'm assuming you agree as well. Forget the performance, just get the
result first, performance second for me.
There you go.
Get the 3 points and don't care how crap the game is. That's what it's to do.
Couch Critic is also with us as well for this one. How we doing, my boy?
Chilling, man. What's going on with the Surfer Jam? You guys good?
Yeah,
All
not
good,
bad,
man.
mate.
All good, all
Not
good,
bad.
all good, all good.
Not bad. Not bad. I know you were a busy man recently, so I wasn't sure whether you were going to be able to make it in and out on this one, but it's nice to actually have you on the
Yeah,
show
no,
with us on this one.
it's good to be here, man. Believe me, lots to talk about.
Ah, loads. Big up to Hiking with Martin as well. Nice to see him in the house. Daniel Knight, M3, HM Couch, but he's here now. Sazipo as well. Top Bins as well. Texas, Hassan. Big up you guys. Listen, we will open up the lines a bit later on, but at the moment I want to keep it a little bit. But there's too many of us, is you just can't hear us. You know, I need other people's opinions, but I don't need to, because I know people are going to be messaging me. Can I have the link? Can I have the link? But you will get in a bit later on. Just bear with us as we go through some of the news. Big up to Blake, who was with us earlier today, Man City fan. Looking forward to the game against Liverpool on the weekend. Big up to him as well. And Abbas, big up to you. Right, guys, I want to start off with the news in regards to the Todd Boehly camp. Obviously, he's been very quiet recently because there's been a lot of talks around the Ricketts themselves, their movements with obviously Bruce Buck, meetings with Paul Canaville, you know, the whole build around the media and everything that's going on with regards to the owner, for me, feels like it's built around the Ricketts. They seem to be in the limelight. But I have been saying to the viewers as well, like, I do feel that Todd Boehly being quiet is not specifically a bad thing. Like, people need to understand that. Some people are thinking, oh, it's a bad thing. We're not hearing anything. What's going on? Sometimes it's better to just do your business in the dark. I think Todd Boehly came out and said the right things in terms of what he wants to kind of do moving forward. But then we also hear this as well. Obviously, Todd Boehly's bid for Chelsea regarded as a favourite, with the addition of Mark Walker putting the group on an even stronger financial footing. The Los Angeles Dodgers principal owner Mark Walker is joining Todd Boehly's bid to buy Chelsea. Now, I don't know much about the Dodgers, so I'd have to ask you two, because I know you guys are quite big with like the sports. I don't know if you know much about Dodgers or whatever, but from what I've read and what I understand in regards to Mark Walker, if from where did I read it from? It's one of these articles, but basically the fact that he's now a part of it, forgetting the money side of it, because obviously the money is important. We need it. It makes it a lot more stronger. But from a business, a project element, apparently this Mark Walters really demands success, and he's got a good knack of backing the right individuals as of where they need it, from what I understand. So to basically kick on and be what they say kind of elite in whatever area they're doing, from what I've read. So if that's true, and Mark Walters is sort of motives already at the Dodgers is of that, and obviously we've got Todd Boehly here as well, surely that's only a good thing that two individuals that are already working with each other over there, say working, but own the Dodgers together over there, coming over to this football club seems to be good news. And I'll start with Couch, because Couch, the one thing I would say in terms of the differences between the Ricketts and the Boehleys is that we heard a lot of noise from the Chicago Cubs supporters about the idea of these guys taking us over. But we've not heard much from any Dodgers supporters coming out and slagging off these lots. So, like, there's not been many complaints, is it? They
That's
stay
a
away
good
from
point.
it.
I mean, maybe it's because the Dodgers are a winning franchise right now. You know, they've consistently been at the top of their divisions ever since Boehly took over, and they've also won a World Series as well. I'm not so sure being quiet is the best way to go about this, though, just because whoever dominates the news cycles is usually the one that's going to be in the good minds of the people that are making these decisions. But having said that, I don't think that the Ricketts are in good stead right now, just because a lot of the reason why they're dominating the press is for the wrong reasons. So if I'm the Boehly's, I'm the Boehly consortium, I'm looking at it like, let them guys make all the noise they want. They're hurting themselves more so than helping at this point. We'll just quietly come in and go about our business. But the fact that Mark Walters has come in on this is making me feel like this is more about money than it is the strength of a bid. You know, like, this is about money. Who can raise the most amount of money to buy this club right now? Because, we've already heard about these bids. We've already heard about what their intentions are for this club and whatnot. And now it's about, okay, well, now we have this backer, and now we got this backer, and now we got this backer. And it's like, why are we hearing that if it's more about, it seems to be more about the money, and where is this money going essentially? Like, It's not going to Roman. It's just going to some sort of like holding company possibly until things go, get clear. So I don't know why this bid has been about so much about the valuation of the club. It seems like that's where it's going, but yeah, it's something that we need to like focus on. It's certainly not about like who has the strongest bid, who has the deepest pockets right now.
100%. Winter Surfer, thoughts on the whole idea of Mark Waters joining Todd Boehly's group for the bid? You're muted.
Sorry, rookie mistake there. I don't know what's happened. I guess it's more familiarity, obviously, with Boehly there. It's more of they're coming from the same franchise they're built up. You have to call it franchise, don't we? Really, it's an American sports term. So let's call it franchise. Couch is right. It's basically it's like a bidding arms race. We've got this going. I don't know if it was confirmed, but we heard all last week or the week before about the Ricketts having these owners now. Dan Gilbert apparently part of their pack, from the Cleveland Cavaliers. But if it's the same people from the, if it's another person from the Dodgers or anything like that, it could be seen as a more positive sign. He's brought someone else on from the same franchise that is doing well. Not only are they performing well, they pay well. They're not only one of the best paid teams in baseball, they're one of the best teams in sports that are paid. They're the highest teams in sports that are paid. Now, does that mean they're going to automatically come in here and spend a lot of money? Maybe, but I think he wants to. Todd Boehly's bringing in people that he knows that are there, that have got the money, that he doesn't have to build a relationship with from the start. If he's got someone there that's also backing him, he'll probably be seen more as the face of the bid, probably. So it's a positive. It looks like a positive sign for me. I mean, ironically, it's hardly been any Ricketts news this week. Just repeated stuff. Now I did say last week we're going to see more of the Todd Boehly stuff and bid, and we have done this week. I mean, he's gone to the game this week, as we saw. So
yeah.
It looks like it's interesting news nonetheless. Whether you take it as positive or not is up to you, but it's certainly a big thing that he's got someone else who's also part of the franchise that he owns in with him as well.
Yeah.
So
100%. I was trying to find the actual article because it was from Athletic, actually. Obviously, they just basically, so I'll read it quick because we ain't got loads of time on it. But basically, it just says that his net worth is 4.4 billion according to Forbes. So, all right, that's not a bad thing. But I'm trying to find out. So, a winning bid by Boehly would make the ownerships of the Dodgers and Boston Red Sox rivals in the Premier League. Red Sox owner John Henry is the principal owner of blah, blah, blah. What has this got to do with Chelsea?
It's just creating an even more rivalry now in different sports. So it's just one of those.
So what they're saying is Dodgers executives believe the methodology they use in baseball would translate well in soccer. Now, is that a good method way of it, or do you think that's just because it's worked successfully there that they believe that maybe doing the same things that they've done there could work the same here? I don't know.
I don't see that. I don't see how there's a congruence there between baseball and football and how you run. Like maybe the model could be about how you go about building a winning team. How you go about assembling a winner. There could be some congruence there, and it basically just comes down to putting in the right sort of an investment, and finding the right sorts of I know in baseball they use like the what's it called, the money, what's it called, the money ball scheme, where you're looking at like analytics and whatnot to discern whether or not somebody.
They back data, didn't they? Basically,
essentially. I'm not necessarily against it. I just don't think that that's the only way you can go about it. Like you can use it as a tool, but not rely on it specifically, right?
So what it says is in nearly 10 years since, I can't even say that word, baseball management took official control of the franchise for 2.5 billion. The team have enjoyed an on-field success while making extensive renovations to update the Dodger Stadium as well, increasing the team's investment in the community. We focus on the team, we focus on the fans in the stadium, then we focus on the community. Team president Stan Kasten said, the thing that makes me proudest about my partners is that we initiated all these things clearly on the day we first took over, and they have lived up to it. So as if to say that if the project that they're putting forward to Chelsea towards the hierarchy is, you remember I said to you guys about, that it's all right to talk, but it's just actually your actions that speaks louder. And this is why I keep saying the short term thing for me is not the bigger picture, because I think any owner can come in and just buy players and try and drag fans aside. My issue is the whole sort of longevity. Like, what are they going to do? Obviously, we know the redevelopment of stadiums is important, but obviously keeping us elite, investing into the club, buying players, but backing managers as well. I think it could, I think we could be turning a new leaf if we get it right, and Todd Boehly does win, and from what we're reading is true, and they do live up to their expectations, and they do everything that they're saying they're going to do. Then I feel that we could, it could potentially work for us. I really do, but I don't think it's something that happens overnight. I don't think it's just like bang, 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 bang. I just think it's something that's going to happen over a certain sustained period of time. But through that period, will we see a drop off? Will we still continue to be in the Champions League? Will we be able to, do you know what I mean? Maybe compete with the top. That's the thing for me.
I think we've heard the rumours that Boehly likes how Liverpool have gone about their transfer business. You might see something like that.
Yeah.
So it could be a 4 or 5 year build job that they're doing, because let's face it, we have a lot of dead wood to get rid of. And what they might do is actually, they might be less stubborn in the offers that they get from other teams for our players. Then this board is very. Let me point out. She's the front opinion. It sounds like Maria is very stubborn in get what price she wants, like for players like Michy Batshuayi or how about instead of trying to get transfers, stop giving these guys year extensions and just let them go.
True.
Just let them walk. Just let them walk. Like for instance, Michy's up. I think Michy's up this year or next year. Don't give him an extension. Let him go. You let him drink water. Go. Let Bakayoko go if you can't find a buyer for him. Just let him run down the contracts.
Get him off the wage bill.
Because that's what American sports do, right? They let the contracts run down sometimes. They just let them go. Because American contracts don't rely on transfer fees. It's one thing they're going to have to get their head around as well, is actually paying a transfer fee and then a contract to someone. They're going to have to get their heads around that as well, which they probably have done. I'm not naive that they probably don't know about that. But it's all about becoming more frugal. We're going to see probably less. We're probably going to see a Liverpool type where we go for 1 or 2 players or something like that a season, and we build and slowly get rid. And because if you look at Klopp's first squad in 15-16 had to what he has now, it's just night and day. But it's taken 5 or 6 years for that squad to really come together. So we're going to have to. Sorry, guys, but. Patience.
Yeah, I agree. Whoever comes in, it is going to be a patience game. I'd worry if someone come in and just went bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't show me what their idea is for the future. It's more of a this is come in and just get this all done. I mean, like stadium, you can't do quickly. Don't get me wrong. That's something.
Well, you're going to have to probably say that if they go to even if they redevelop the stadium, you're going to have to say that we're not going to go bang, bang, bang in the transfer market, because. Yeah, it's lopsided. They can't remember. They're going to have to offset losses as well, and we can't breach our own FFP like Everton have done in like 3 years. We can't go over a certain amount, or else we could possibly get points deduction and transfer bans and stuff like that.
The thing is, Winter Surfer, I feel like we're in a position where we don't really have much options when you look at the shortlist. Like it's like, where do we go here? Because I know some people are praying that Roman just hangs out and holds out and peace talks work and he changes his mind and the Chelsea doesn't get sold and everything will go back to normal and everyone will be happy again. But that's not going to happen. I just feel him coming out and making that statement. I have a feeling that he was, not intentionally, but I feel Roman was actually going to sell eventually. I feel he was getting close to selling anyway. I'm not saying he's using this as an excuse to sell. I don't think this would be the kind of way you'd want to sell the club. He's been kind of forced into it, but I do feel it was coming a time that I feel that he was going to move on. He was going to look for someone to take over. Well, look what he's built, Couch. 3 billion. We're 3 billion. Like this is something that.
What was it, like a £200 million investment or something like that? It's built.
After the debt was cleared. Yeah,
that's crazy.
They say £1. They say £1, but they don't take into fact how much debt we were in
Yeah.
and everything like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
That's
200
unreal.
million.
No, I think going forward, what we got to be cognizant of, especially the first couple of years, very much like Winter Surfer said, and also you, Jem, is just being patient with the takeover and whatnot. Because even as is right now, if they're saying that this takeover is going to be what go run into March or something, or May, before we see who actually takes over the reins, that's going to
Yeah.
hurt. That's going to hurt our summer transfer window, anyways, right? We're not going to be
Yes.
able to get up and running in
So
that.
late
Anyway.
to it. But
And then
you're right.
there's going to be an evaluation period on whether or not we want to run with the same sort of like board. Like I'm of the opinion that the current structure that we have right now is not good enough. I know everyone, praises Marina for getting top dollar and whatnot, but at the same time, the types of players that we've been attracting and whatnot and signing and whatnot have not really been up to the standard. And even when you think about whenever we win a title or something like that, we always come back and buy like the bargain basement players, and like I don't know if it's just based on the fact that like we've been like relying specifically on a scouting department that is taking the player type. So the manager will give you a player type. Okay, I need a defensive midfielder who can like bust up play and get forward.
Yeah.
And then they, instead of getting like, lack of a better term, Declan Rice, they're bringing in, Saul Niguez. What I mean? Like,
Well,
these are like very like poor examples of what I'm saying, but I'm
I know
hoping
what
that you
you're
guys understand it's the
yeah.
player type that they're after more so than getting the top notch.
It's also last 3 years. Last 3 years, I deeped it on our front line. So in 2019, we spent around £320 million just on our front line.
And how much of that is retainable though? Like how many of those players would you say are retainable?
Everything's lost, so we're never going to get that money back. So Werner's on a loss, Lukaku will be a loss, Ziyech will be a loss, and Pulisic would potentially be a loss. But Havertz is the only one you could possibly go, yeah, I'm confident in keeping because he's showing things consistently. So these guys, I'm not going to want to waste £320 million in 3 years.
No, and I don't. The thing is, I don't mind that. I would prefer an owner to come in and not just be rash and just buy the big name and spend the biggest money. I'd rather them look at the data and look at the player and look at the manager and look at the squad and listen to what people were saying and try and understand what we need to do to make us better and how we count. Like we need a DM. All right, we need a DM. Cool. What type of DMs do we need? What are our options? Bang, 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 bang. Like I don't mind that, but like it's just then understanding what we need to become successful moving forward, and you're only going to get that from having not only just owners, but I do think we need to sort out the scouting department, and I keep stressing it. It's not good
100%.
enough. Like if these people were coming in, it's I don't mind certain individuals staying. I think the foundations that Abramovich has built is good. It just needs a cleanup still, a little cleanup here and there. Scouting department's one of them. Marina. Whether she stays or go, I don't know. I think personally, eventually she's going to walk. I think anyway, but we'll see what happens. I want to move on because we still got to talk about the preview.
Right.
I want to talk about the Southampton Chelsea game, but I also want to talk about players being on their last straws. Certain individuals having maybe enough opportunities, should we say? Like, do we agree on this? And who should really be on that list to leave the football club as well moving forward? So just quickly, obviously we've got this comment here from Matt Law saying that Telegraph Sport understands that there are concerns within the Chelsea squad over the futures, players, contracts, transfer targets, and even wage policy. Declan Rice remains on Chelsea's radar, and Chelsea have kept a good relationship with Koundé. Now that's all well and cool. Like the first part of it doesn't really surprise me because there is still that uncertainty with what's going on with the owners, who's going to be the new owner. There's talks about it now being extended to. I think they were extending it. It was originally 11th, but now it's being extended. I think Matt Law said it was to the 14th or 15th.
Next Thursday, yeah.
Next Thursday.
Next end of next week.
They were also saying that the new owner won't be sorted until May.
Yes.
Is what I read as well today. So it's an interesting one. Obviously, we've got a comment here as well saying Chelsea's new owners are likely to secure long-term futures for some of the club's best talents, including Mason Mount, Reece James, whilst decisions will be made on Jorginho and N'Golo Kante. Obviously, the reason they mentioned them two is N'Golo Kante's due, his contract's due anyway, isn't it? Same with Jorginho's is due pretty soon as well. Declan Rice's supposed 150 million price tag could the new owners offer potential deal. Listen, I don't care what owner comes through the door. And that kind of money straight away in one player is not going to happen anymore.
Nah, it's not going to happen.
They're
not going to do that.
They're
not going to do that, you know. So I think it goes back to.
I think they like the fact that he put supposed too.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, he tried to be careful in Matt Lord, didn't he? Do you know what I mean? But it's so interesting stuff. But in regards to that, just real quickly, for me, the whole uncertainty, players not sure. Surely, guys, this can't be affecting the last two performances that we're seeing, right? Because prior to this, we were on a win of about 8 or 9 games. So it can't be the whole thing of, we're not sure we're going to get money, our contracts, we're going to be renewed. Like these guys are
I wonder about that because I think Tuchel did a great job of keeping the camp pretty quiet and focused right before the international break. And I feel like once you go away and you're not insulated by the club and, like the noise and whatnot, you go away and people are like just ripping on you. Oh, yeah, so you guys don't even have an owner, this, that, and the other. Like that sort of talk starts happening. Are you going to be able to, are you flying? Are you going to be able to fly to your next gig? Are you paying for it again? That stuff might seep in during the international break and then, might destabilize the club there. We have no control over that, right?
Yeah.
The other thing to consider too is what types of players are you talking about? Like who are you thinking about? Like for me, I don't doubt for 1 second that Christensen should not have played that last match. Just based on the fact that guy's got 1 foot out the door right now. You know what I mean? This guy's focused on, playing at Camp Nou right now. There's no reason why he should be playing in a European Cup tie against Real Madrid, especially when you have Chalobah healthy and ready on the bench. Every time that Chalobah's played in the European Cup tie for us, he's been close to the man of the match. So for me, he should have been given the opportunity to continue, especially when you're thinking about where we're going as a club going forward. But I think it comes down to who you're speaking of, like whether or not that outside noise and stuff like that is affecting the collective. Because I really do feel like there would be a few individuals that you can look to and say, well, yeah, probably. And it's very like let's not kid ourselves. It's the accumulation of things too. Like we've had such a tumultuous season, like with injuries, fixture pile up. We're talking about the Lukaku situation, the noise there, and then obviously this is a lot. Like mental fatigue for a club, and maybe we're at the point right now where it's piled up and it's too much.
We're gonna 100%. We are gonna get what we're gonna do soon. Actually, is we're gonna go through the Thomas Tuchel press conference. I wanted to touch on that. We are going to go through the Blues Bulletin, which I always do as well, which is the Southampton versus Chelsea head-to-head. Some little, you bring up some little stats that maybe you wouldn't have known. To be fair, it's quite useful. And then we're going to do our preferred lineup for the game as well, and our score predictions, and then allow people on as well. But a little bit of breaking that just came out as well is this: apparently Crystal Palace were looking to try and push Conor Gallagher or appeal for Conor Gallagher to play against Chelsea in the semi-final. That has been overturned, and there's also a comment that's come out and said that Conor Gallagher hasn't directly pushed for this. This wasn't Conor Gallagher. This is actually Palace trying to push the narrative, which is fine. I understand it. So, Conor Gallagher featuring against Chelsea in the semi-final, guys, is not going to happen. That's been turned away, basically.
Can I tell you now, if he was playing shit, they wouldn't have. They would have said
exactly.
Let's face it. He overall, I think he's their best player this season. Overall this season, Conor Gallagher, and he is a big loss for them, which we'll talk about the Southampton being another player that can't play against us. So that's in that was it. When you signed him on loan, that was one of the things that he couldn't play against us, and that's one of if you want to play against us, then pay us some more money then for the loan. But we can't even take that money, can we? Really? But you know what I mean? It's like one of those.
Problem, is it?
Was it 2014 or was it 2014 when we had Courtois play against us in the semifinals of the Champions League and lost?
Yeah.
I would never let that happen.
Never.
I would never let that happen. We played Real Atletico Madrid in the semifinals, and they allow Courtois to play against us. Like, no way. Like
that's.
That was a silly decision.
That's nearly as silly as that Arsenal fan coming out on AFTV moaning about the whole fact of Chelsea loanees playing against the Arsenals because it's in theory Chelsea players, not Palace players, and it shouldn't be allowed. What nonsense is that? I can't believe
I've never heard that before. That sounds like a load of rubbish.
Yeah, it was funny, mate. I've seen it. It's funny. I'm not going to lie. So Let's get into Tuchel's press conference for the game. We are going to be talking about that at the Southampton-Chelsea game, guys. Over 90 of you here. Smash the like button, please. Subscribe to the channel as well if you can. Check out Couch Critic as well. Couch Critic's got his own channel, which is literally his name, Couch Critic as well. And Winter Surfer, you can find him pretty much on Sarcasm City most of the times. I see him over there.
We're stepping up the NBA playoffs. So you'll see us. If you're not bored of us already, you'll see us like daily soon, and you'll be bored.
Let's go Raptors!
We're doing all the playoffs, so don't worry.
To me, that sounds like an animal. I don't know what else that is other than Right, listen, let's get into this Tuchel press conference then. So a couple of comments really. He was talking about the first question he was asked was about injuries, and he mentioned the fact that Callum Hudson-Odoi is still out. He's still struggling to get fit, still same injury. It's put him back a bit. He doesn't know if it's going to be a couple of days or weeks or whatever with him. But Romelu Lukaku and Hakim Ziyech are also potential doubts, but he's saying that they could be okay by tomorrow when they're tested at 3 p.m. I mean, I was at the game. I don't know if you guys saw as well, but I didn't see any niggly injuries with these two. And I mean, Lukaku only come on for 20 fucking minutes and Ziyech come on for half a game. So the fact that we haven't maybe got these two as an option, does that worry you guys in any way or not?
Like I said, I don't know how Lukaku has got injured and what he did to get injured at all. You know, unless he sprained his neck with those headers. Ziyech, I didn't see Ziyech limp or anything like that. Or I know, Jim, you were there, so you
no, it was fine. It was fine.
What I mean, I don't understand. Yeah. I don't understand what this is, man. Really, little niggly injuries. Callum, I'm not going to go and try to debate. It's weeks or something. You know, let him be someone else's problem next season, either on loan or selling one of the others.
We're going to talk about that,
yeah. It's strange because, like you said, you were there. I didn't see anything on the game, either what they would have injured themselves in, apart from their egos. I don't know what else they're injured in. So
I don't know whether they picked up an injury in training, if it's something that happened after the game. I don't know. But reading down here, I mean, he said that, but he didn't say it as to how it happened. He just said that they've got a little bit of a knock and that they might be okay for tomorrow, but they won't know till 3 o'clock, whether once they've had their test, you know, whether they're going to be fit or not. So I don't know. With that, other than that, Chilwell's out, and then everyone else, from what I understand, is pretty fine. But he also talks about the sudden poor form, and he says we are aware of it and we don't like it. I don't know if we are concerned, but we looked at it, talked about it, and how we can improve. Couch, you've seen the last 2 games against Brentford and Real Madrid, and we've not really. I mean, I've said a number of times that I feel it's the individuals more than the system at the moment. What are your thoughts on our sudden poor form? Is it just the lack of certain players not playing to the way they should be playing, hence why we're not playing as well at the moment, and we're losing games like we are, or do you think it's more than that at the moment?
I think it's a combination of things, but I think we're just we're moving away from the fundamentals of this football club. You know, like what we were successful with under Thomas Tuchel, even the beginning of his reign last year. Like, we played a really, really low block. We weren't conceding any high danger opportunities. We're like, you'd see Mendy call into action maybe like 2 or 3 times a game, and it wouldn't even really be a high danger opportunity. And now we're playing a really, really high line, and we're being exposed at the back, you know, like time and time again, you know. And I think that is a fundamental change from what we were doing last year versus what we're doing this year. And I understand, we want to be more on the front foot. We want to try and create more opportunities to score goals rather than trying to spring on the counter and, you know, create that way. But it's just not working. You know, we don't have the midfield to give us that sort of thrust to, you know, basically create opportunities when we're camped out in the final third. And when we do that now, it's basically exposing our defensive liability now. Like, it's making our defense look like a real liability, because as soon as they hit us on the counter right now, they're going 1v1 against pretty much any one of our defenders, and we're not looking as solid. So I think it's fundamentally coming down to Tuchel tweaking the tactics, playing the line a little bit higher. But then also, we're not getting the energy from the midfield that we were getting. Like, Conte's not Conte right now. Like he's not played anywhere close to what he gave us last year in the big games. You can say the same thing for Mason Mount. Mason Mount's not giving us that energy in the midfield. The ability to close quickly and put the defense under, or the attackers under, an immense amount of pressure. We're just not seeing that anymore. And I think that's the combination of that and the high line is leaving us mightily exposed.
Yeah, Winter Surfer. For you, is it the same? Do you have the same views? Or?
Last 2 games, I always said this year, I got to start with the manager and the tactics. To go into a 4, to the business end of the season, to change it to a back 4, I never understood that. Go with what you know. Go with what's best.
True.
Like I said to you at the start, Jem, I'm result first over performance.
Yeah.
Get the win, because if we'd won last week, then this week I'm more of a sense of being in more of a throwaway game, because we're between the 2 Real Madrid legs. Now, because of last week, it's a must-win game for me tomorrow, just to secure that 3rd spot as quick as possible. But the tactics had to come into question for last week. The decision not to match Real Madrid 3 in midfield during the week like we did last season, to put pressure on them and not to even change it still, not to drop them in, to play Aspilicueta. I know I dug Alonso, but to play Aspilicueta at left wing back still has to come into question. And like Cowshed to play Christensen when he's probably his heart's not in it anymore.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It has to come into question as well. And like I said, we are. Let's say again, I'm amazed. Even in January, we did not buy cover for the 2 wing backs or right back or something like. Even on loan, just to get us through to the end of the season. Something just to have cover. I'm just poor management all the way around, essentially. But the last 2 games, I think the manager.
Kennedy hasn't even. He's
not even played. That's what I mean. He wasn't bought. Wasn't bought for that. It was just like, sorry. Tommy Tuchel didn't want Kennedy. You're mad. All those stories about him. Yeah, we'll have Kennedy come back. Shut up. You didn't want Kennedy.
That just shows you the fact that he's barely played him tells you that it wasn't his sign. Like he's basically just making a point. Like you've given me someone that I don't want to use. Do you know what I mean? Like that's literally the way I see that.
I bet he doesn't want half these players if you really ask him.
Well, look,
half these players don't suit his style.
I agree with what you have both said in regards to the what hasn't been working for us. Why have we lost these past 2 games? For me, I think the Brentford game was more of a system setup. I look at Tuchel and I point fingers at him because I felt like he took Brentford for granted personally, and just thought we'll go there and we'll get a job done. They're not in great form. They're not really a problem. And the likes of people like Thiago Silva, I keep saying, I think we forget. I know we say that he can play pretty much every game, but if the guy's just got back from halfway across the world after playing for Brazil, you use your common sense and you don't.
He didn't play Pulisic because of that reason.
He didn't play Pulisic for that reason, but he played Silva. He had Christensen on the bench. He could have played him next to Rudiger in the back 4. It would have been, I'm not saying it would have been a different story, but I just feel like certain decisions in the Brentford game, from a managerial perspective, just was wrong. And that's why we ended up getting caught out. And then we go to the Real Madrid game, and I thought the first 15, 20 minutes, I thought we started quite well. We were on the front foot. We gave them a lot of problems, and they were struggling to get the ball for us. And then I even looked at the lineup, and I thought, yeah, all right, cool. We 3-4-3. Let's go for this. But we've got to have energy. And I keep saying the difference between the 3-4-3 now and the 3-4-3 last year Champions League for me is that we stopped a couple things. We stopped pressing from the front. We don't go as a unit. So what I saw when I was at the game is I saw Havertz go and I saw Mount go with him, but then I saw Pulisic just standing there. Yeah. And so once they shifted the ball across, there was just this big gap for their right back to pick the ball up and have time to play it in. But by the time Pulisic gets to the ball and then Jorginho goes, then the other side where Havertz and Mount were pressing because they're trying to get across is open. And what was going wrong is that half of them were pressing, the other half wasn't. And then what happened with that is that the ones that were pressed would leave so much space behind them because they're pressing and they're not being, they're not going with the people behind them, not going with. Kante and Jorginho let us down massively in that game because they didn't. Every time we pressed forward, they didn't go, and when they did go, they kind of went without thinking who was around them because once they got caught and there was a player sitting behind them, it was easy to just pickpocket them. And that's why the defence then started struggling, because we just kept getting hit on the break, especially in the first half. And that's what I'm saying. We were more of a unit last year.
Yes.
And the way that we played the game was better than what we are now. And individuals, Kante's not the same. Thiago Silva wasn't great. Jorginho's wasteful. Mount is not the same player he was last year. I was watching clips of Mason Mount the other day. He looks completely half the player he was last season to what he is now. He just doesn't look the same,
Do you think that that's just down to fatigue, though? Because I feel like we've played a lot of we played the most matches in Europe, man.
Of course.
You can't expect these guys to press like that every game.
Couch, it's not even Europe. Yes, Real Madrid, he plays 150th game for us, right? 150 games in, let's say, 3 years, right? He's a young player. He's in the red zone. Yeah, he's fatigued out. I'm telling you this right now. That's why his numbers may be slightly better than was, but his performances are way down. They are way down his performance level. Like Jim said, his energy. We saw it. He now has little bursts of energy.
We're not the same.
He's not the same, and that's the problem. That's the problem with how this squad's constructed. How we all, or most of and even I to it myself, we looked at the squad and thought, yeah, it was good, but only because of how many people are in the squad, not the quality of the squad.
True. Good point.
Yeah, not the quality.
100%.
Good point. And we don't have, and that's the problem with Mount. He should be having help from senior players like a Werner, like a Ziyech, so he can rest during the season. So he can rest, and he doesn't have to be called upon. But because the others are either injury prone or rubbish, he has to play nearly every single game of every single minute. And if we're not careful, he's going to burn out by the time.
But isn't it mad that Havertz is the one that's actually carrying us? And how old is he? And look at all the experienced players we have around.
Where was he the first half of the season?
Yeah, exactly. I get that. But what I'm saying is, he's for me, the only one of the good things this season for me is the progression of him. Like he seems to be slowly getting more. I agree with you. I need to see it at the beginning of the season.
Yeah,
I want to see it from the beginning. But don't get me wrong, that's the next thing I need to see. But in terms of his own progression as a player, I feel like he's becoming a better player when you look at him. In his all-round game, his hold-up play, his understanding of the system, when to go, scoring goals where he needs to, becoming more clutch in big games. Like he's doing a lot more. But some of the other individuals around him are just not up to
you can make the argument that it's only really Havertz and Reece James that have actually progressed this season.
Yeah. Everyone's either they're stagnating or gone backwards. Let's face it. In all seriousness, guys like Ziyech and Lukaku should be ashamed of themselves for themselves, professional footballers. The way they have let these youngsters lead them this season,
especially when one comes here and says that he's versatile and he should put him in the same bracket as Lewandowski and Benzema. And then you see these comments saying it's from Tuchel saying on Lukaku, it's not only Romelu, the group is lacking shape and sharpness. I agree. It is a lack of form from individuals. I agree, and it affects the group. Romelu had one chance and a big chance. Nothing helps more than goals. The best thing now is to take training seriously. What does he mean by take training seriously?
That is an indictment right there.
That's an indictment. That is a damning. That's a damning thing.
Does that mean that they're not taking training? Because is he basically saying that they're just taking the piss in training? From what I'm understanding,
what he's saying is he's not going to be starting matches.
Yeah,
and he has to get his reps in training because Kai Havertz is going to be the guy that's going to be starting for us.
It's a big comment, isn't it?
Basically, run around more in training. Actually, look like you want to play for this club, even if you don't look like you want to play for this club. Have the right mentality. Tuchel is really Tuchel's really starting to turn.
He doesn't hold back, does he? He says what he thinks.
No, Wednesday he said the tie was dead. He said the tie was dead Wednesday, essentially, and now he's going in like this. And do you know what? I think he's tried to be nicey as much as possible, but I think on the field stuff for him and off the field stuff for him, it's all now. This man's going to explode, or he has done already, because the pressure he must be feeling on the pitch and off the pitch. He's getting to a FIFA pitch at the moment. So
he's the key man. I keep saying it. He is the key, and whoever the new owners is that come in, we have to keep him, on side as well. Tuchel on Chelsea's chances of finishing the top four. I am absolutely confident, but it's not a given. As if to say that he is confident, but it's not a given that is the case. So he kind of trusts the guys to get the job done still, which I do as well. I don't expect us not to get top 4. I think it'll be a travesty if we don't. If we don't finish in the Champions League from this point, then I don't know what to say. I'm telling you, I really don't know what to say. He also spoke about Mendy's form. And I mean, Couch, Mendy has been poor the last 2 games, don't get me wrong. But is it at a point now where, like Matt, for example, saying Kepa should be starting games now? He's, he needs a rest. He's playing too much football, travelling around, AFCON, this, that, and the other. Do you feel it's time for Mendy to just have a break? Or do you think you just need to keep playing him and let him just
I think you need to pick your spots, but... Yeah, like he's definitely jaded. Like he's been doing a lot of travel, and to be honest with you, you have to pick your spots. I don't know if these next 2 matches, just given the weight of them, like even what Winter Surfer said, like had we beaten Brentford, then maybe you give him Southampton to recuperate for the midweek. But the magnitude of these matches now have just gotten bigger, and you can't. We play Kepa the weekend, and he shits the bed. We're in a very, very, very tough position. Let's be honest. That's very likely to be the scenario that we see ourselves under, right? Yeah. So I think we got to pick our spots, and I don't know when that spot is. Like he might actually end up even playing in Southampton. He might end up playing Kepa at Southampton.
Would you rest him against Southampton and play him against Real Madrid, or would you just play him in both? If you was,
I mean, I don't. Depending on what you see this tie as with Real Madrid, like I think Tuchel's he's thinking that we have a chance, but you're not going to go to the Bernabeu playing the way we have right now and overturning that result. You know what I mean? So you really have to be focused on the season right now, the rest of the Premier League season. And
I think we can do it. I do, but
not how we're playing right now.
At the moment.
Like everything that we saw the last 2 matches.
Yeah,
unless we could see a complete turnaround of that in the Southampton game, it's not like you're going to the Olympic Stadium or whatever. You're going to the Bernabeu.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is though, if we saw the Chelsea from last season Champions League, is that beating Real Madrid?
What evidence have you seen the last little while that is the evidence that Chelsea is going to show up? That's the worry. I haven't seen top Conte in a while. I haven't seen top Mount. I haven't seen, Rudiger's been okay, but he hasn't really been Rudiger. These are the things that we have to worry about, right? If we're not seeing top performances from our big players, and I don't know when we're going to see that again. So I can't call it.
Tuchel still thinks that N'Golo Kante, even though he is having struggles and he admits it, but he still thinks that he is still a key player, but acknowledges the dip. He understands that he's having a bit of a decline as an individual. But is it just him, really? Like, don't get me wrong, it's more noticeable with him because he's that good. But is could we not say the same for Jorginho? Could we not say the same for most of our forward line, for example? Like, is it just because he's one of the experienced, world class?
I think when N'Golo Kante is at his best, he makes Chelsea exponentially better. Yeah, exponentially better. Like everyone, whenever we speak about like the Champions League we're on last year, everyone talks about Mason Mount, they talk about Havertz, they talk about all these other people. Nobody talks about N'Golo Kante and how important he was right down the stretch of those games.
100%.
Like even in the Champions League final, as much as Kai Havertz was the man of the moment,
Kante was unreal.
It was definitely Kante that was the man of the match. Like without question in my mind, Kante was the man of the match.
Is Ramadan affecting him? Potentially?
No.
I mean, he hasn't been informed for a while, though, right?
No. That's not. I'm not using Ramadan as an excuse. I mean, Benzema.
Well, Benzema broke his fasting for the game. He's got a hat trick. Do you know what I mean?
But the thing, the overall picture of Kante is very problematic for Chelsea at the moment because of his contract as well, and also his availability. Availability is the best thing for a footballer.
True.
And the way we do this contract negotiation is going to be very tricky because he's earning a lot of money, right? But at the moment, he's not playing a lot of games. So if we're looking to extend his contract, I'm of the opinion that I'm fine with extending his contract, but he's got to take a potential wage cut because he's not going to be available for a lot. And then also, I think while I think wing backs are so important this summer to get, midfield is definitely a priority. And I'm thinking, some people say, we only need one DM. I'm thinking even with Gallagher coming back, I'm thinking 2 DMs or 2 central midfielders to come in and cover Kante and use Kante sort of like in the biggest games possible, not have him play any cup games really until the semi-finals or the final, not have him in like irrelevant Premier League games when we know we can win without him. But will he be of the mind of to accept a wage cut for a new contract? And also, how long do we give him? 2 years, 3 years? Because he's 31 now, right? Yeah. And he's playing less and less. Yeah. So
yeah,
if he doesn't agree to, I'd never thought I would say this, Jem. If he doesn't agree to that, I'm thinking that we probably need to sell him this summer.
You know, it's funny though, because
I don't think we lose both.
He actually said before he signed this last contract that it was too much money. So I don't think the money is going to be a problem.
Oh no! But you know his advisors. I don't think if he was just negotiating, I think it'd be fine. But you know what the advisors are like.
Yeah.
You know.
I just feel that either or Jorginho or Kante a go. I don't think we're stupid enough to let both go. If you had to force me to pick one or the other, I'm keeping Kante. Personally,
that goes without saying.
Over Jorginho, I think we do need
a fan alive. If there's a Chelsea fan who picked Jorginho over Kante, then I don't know who you are.
I think part of the reason, and I'm not just blaming Jorginho, but he is predominantly a DM, but a different style of DM, not your typical DM. Like when I think of DMs, I think of the likes of like Matt, all right, Declan Rice, Matic, like these are like your traditional DMs. I think part of the reason why we struggle with Jorginho there is that when you have a dip in form like we're having with N'Golo Kante, where he's not really covering Jorginho and helping him and he, being aware of his surroundings, that Jorginho kind of gets caught out and it's a bit sus, and it's not his fault. It's just that I feel that once you isolate Jorginho and he hasn't got Kovacic or Kante close to him, helping him get on with things, I think that's where we look suspects. And this is why the gap between our midfield, once it's beaten, to our defence, there's always space. And I've seen it in the last 2 games. There's so much space once you beat Jorginho. It's ridiculous. And it's scary because he hasn't got the recovery speed to get back into that. Nope. You throw a Declan Rice into that and you have Kante next to him, and Kante's still playing that sort of 8-ish role where he's pressing, and then Declan Rice kind of goes with him. Even if Declan Rice gets beaten, he's gonna get back into position pretty quickly, or he's gonna hunt down that ball, try and win it back. Jorginho can't do that.
What the funny thing is? Like, most of what we're talking about right now is just planning, all right? And like, what would we ideally would have liked to seen happen? I know I would have liked to have seen happen was Chelsea go out last summer, buy Tchouaméni, give him the season to acclimatize himself with the Premier League while you have Kante at his level, Kovacic at his level, Jorginho, whatnot, and then the succession happens after that.
Yep.
Right now, we're just going to be these 2 players in particular are running down their contracts.
Yeah.
And their play has dropped off quite a bit. Give me a break. And the players dropped off so much so that we're now going to be desperate to fill the void. Whereas if we would have just done that last summer, brought in Tchouaméni and just slowly brought him up to speed with how we want to play the game, we've been in a way better position. And it's just like we don't have any planning at this club ever.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Big up to Gohan he's always back with his wild comments, isn't he? He said how many first men can Mason Milner kill with corners? I mean, he did hit a couple of first men in that Real Madrid game. It's driving me mad, not gonna lie. Right, we're gonna delve into quickly I want to quickly delve into the Blues Bulletin. I always do it. It's always nice to just learn a little bit and news between the heads of Southampton and Chelsea. Apparently, Chelsea are unbeaten in 8 games. And only been defeated 1. The Blues have only lost 1 of our last 12 Premier League matches with Southampton. 8 wins and 3 draws. Obviously, one loss. What else have we got here that I wanted to go through? So the biggest league win for each team, Chelsea beat Southampton 4-0 ages ago, actually. 2003 and 4 was the last time round. And then we lost to Southampton 5-0 back in 1968. You even knew that one. But yeah, we lost 5-0 back in 1968. Chelsea's biggest win at Southampton was 4-1 in 1920. In terms of stats, Chelsea are looking to equal our club record with 7 successive away wins in all competitions, originally set in 1988-89 and equaled in 2019-20. So there you go. We're still, even though we're not playing that great, we're still trying to break certain little records here and there. Only Man City 8 has conceded fewer away, less goals than Chelsea in the top flight this term, 9 from 15. Chelsea have opened the scoring in our last 7 Premier League matches, our longest run since September and November 19. The Blues have dropped 16 points from winning positions this season, which is very poor when you think of it like that. 16 points is a lot of points. Chelsea have not been losing at half-time in any of our 29 Premier League games this season. Have not been losing at half-time. Okay, so we never go behind in the first half. We're always sort of ahead or drawing, from what I understand from that.
Actually, yeah.
Okay. Antonio Rudiger's strike against Brentford last weekend was our 12th to be scored from outside the box this season. 12th. 9 have come in the box Premier League more than any other side. We managed only 5 in total last season. So we're scoring more outside the box is what they're saying. Now, in terms of milestones, Mason Mount is playing his 150th appearance if he's made his 150th appearance for the club against Real Madrid on Wednesday. So he's already had his 150th game. Not a great 150th game, Miss Mason Mount. I'm not going to lie. In terms of Southampton stats, Livermento's played 47 games for Southampton now, 25 in the Premier League as well. Broha, as we know, can't start for them as it's his parent club. What else have we got here? In terms of Ralph Hasenhüttl's record against Chelsea, he's only won 1, drawn 3 and lost 2 in the games that he's come up against us. And in terms of the referee for the weekend, we do have Mr. Kevin Friend with Lee Mason in the VAR box as well. So there you go, guys. Kevin Friend will be refereeing this game for us. Josh has joined us as well. Josh, how you doing, my man?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Big up.
Right, mate. All right. We've gone through quite a lot. You've missed quite a lot, actually, to be fair.
Yeah,
But
sorry about that, man.
Coming at a good time because we haven't done the potential lineup. But before we do the potential lineup, I wanted to kind of talk about certain individuals because we're getting close to the end of the season. And
excuse me,
it's now becoming to a point where I feel after going to the last 2 games and what I've seen that it's getting to the point now some of these guys are just done for me. I genuinely got to the point where I've got little hope in them being able to turn anything around from now to the end of the season. And I'm just going to throw some names to you guys. And I just want to know whether you guys agree with me or disagree. Same with the guys in the chat. There's over 140 of you here. Smash the likes. Let's get this over 100 likes. Subscribe to the channel as well, guys. We are going to do that lineup soon as well. When we talk about players that should potentially leave this football club, and it's not only based on what we've seen on the pitch, but it's also, I'm talking about appearances as well, like minimal appearances, but just sitting on the bench and taking stupid wages, which is what's happening as well. In terms of the goalkeeping area, do you feel that Kepa and his wage bill is an option for us
Not
to
even
look
worth
to maybe
talking
move
about.
him on and look for a second goalie?
You can't have 200 or 1,000 pounds on your bench like that as a keeper, especially when you know Mendy's going to be getting the lion's share of the work. Come on, that's a no-brainer. He's gone. If you can get somebody to take him on, like those wages, we're probably going to have to subsidize his wages to move him.
Okay, that's Couch's thoughts. What are you saying, Josh? Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I think Mendy. I think Kepa's a decent keeper, but as a backup on that wage, it's completely unfeasible to do that financially. Like Couch said, Mendy's going to get the large majority of the work. You can't be paying that kind of wage for a backup. I do think there's decent backups out there. You could probably take a look at that. You could get for half the price, maybe 60% of the price.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, it just doesn't make much sense financially to do that.
Okay, so 2 are saying Kepa out as well. I mean, Winter Surfer.
Well,
I mean, I know if Matt's watching, he's going to be pissed off right now.
I hope he is. No, as of this summer, he will still have 3 years left on his contract. Yeah. He's been here 4 years.
We gave him a 7-year contract, didn't we? I forgot.
155 grand a week.
My God.
It's one of the worst deals we've ever done. Now it looks like one of the worst deals we've ever done. The problem is, Couch is right. The problem is whoever comes in, they are not going to have a guy sitting on the bench earning 155 grand a week and only playing like 10 games a season. It's just not financially, it's not fiscally sound, is it?
Oh,
They're going to get rid of him. And this is where it comes in about us not being stubborn about what we're offered for our players. Get them off the wage bill. Yeah, get them. That's the most important thing. Get 155 grand off the wage bill and get him gone. This is what we've got to do now. We've got to start being sensible and saying, if someone comes in and goes, "Oh, we'll give you 30 million for Kepa," just take it. Just take it and get him off the wage bill. You're going to make a loss anyway on him because he hasn't been that good. So just get him off. Get these guys off. Stop extending their contracts and get them off. He's got 3 years left of 155 grand a week. I can't even think of how much that is. So that's tens of millions of pounds still left that we've already paid him as well.
Newcastle will be a good fit for him right now, I think.
Fine, go. Take him.
Right. I mean,
there's no way I'm subsidising his wages if Newcastle come in and pay him.
No, definitely not.
For him. They can get stuff. Yeah.
All right. Well, Kepa, I want to be kind of quick with it because we're going to sit here all day talking about players going in. No, but I agree with it. For me, part of it, I agree. I think Kepa is definitely one that has to go. It doesn't make really any sense him being on the books. As a second goalie for that much. And I think there is players. Out there that we can bring in for, like we said, half the price. It just makes sense for me as well. Now, going to the defence in terms of already knowing Christensen is leaving, which we already know. I'm not going to talk too much about Rudiger because again we don't know. Aspie, how important is Azpilicueta to you guys staying here for another season, or do you feel he goes, or do you think the experience is still important just to have here and just bring in maybe the likes of others like Koundé's and that and have them around to sort of delve him in? Would you keep Aspie or would you let him go?
I keep him for the squad. I keep him one more year for the squad because Silva can be there for experience, but he's turning 38 and we don't know when he'll probably leave as well. I'd get these guys. That's why it's important also to sign Rudiger as well. The experience needed for a Koundé if he comes in because he's not been proven in the Premier League. Another year of Chalobah there, and possibly another. Is it Colwell or Colwell?
Colwell. Yeah, Colwell.
He probably might be drafted in as well. So that's two essentially youngsters in there as well. I just think he's not going to play a lot. That's fine, but just have him around that squad, sort of like the last vestiges of the Roman Abramovich era, the winning era. And then go.
You know, I would just leave it up to him. Like honestly, he's been such a
good he deserves that. He deserves that.
Exactly my point. I was going to say the exact same thing with a guy like that.
He's not John Terry. He's not of that stature, but like the way that John Terry came back and helped Conte under that title-winning season, just be like, the motivational leader of that club. I can see Aspie being that guy. Like if he wants to come back and play a limited role, because obviously he's not going to be getting any games over Reece James unless there's a serious injury or whatever. If he wants to just come back and be a part of the squad, be like the motivational leader, then by all means. But I think that you leave that up to him because he's been such a great steward for the club.
I agree.
Yeah, this is my point exactly. With a guy like Aspie, he's earned the respect to make that decision himself. The 1 year extension gives us a little flexibility to maybe make a few pounds on him, which is good for the club. At the end of the day, if he has a deal with Barca and he wants to go, I think you just sell him, let him go. If he'd like to stay, and like Couch said, know that he's going to be on very limited minutes and games, you can keep him around for the morale, for help, boost some of the young guys, but at the end of the day, you let him make that ultimate decision.
I agree. I think Aspie, I agree with you guys. I'll give him the choice because he deserves the choice. He's been a legend in this football club, and if it's ready for him to go and do something different, cool. If he don't, he wants to see it and end his career here, I'll back it. But we'll move quickly on these. Alonso's a quick one. See you later. Is there anyone in the chat that wants Alonso to stay?
Don't give him the decision.
Don't
let him.
Is he? What's his contract now? Anyhow,
is it 2 years left?
I think he's got 2.
He's got one. He's got 1 year after this. Yes,
he got to find a taker. So
that's the problem. Yeah,
he was talking about extending his contract.
No,
this guy was saying, I can stay. No problem. No. I can be here. I know that the fans love me. I'm very important.
If you want to stay here, you've got to pay us.
Yeah. It's on
Do you know what?
it's on a free season.
The one thing I would say about the new owners coming in, I hope they really are strict and look at the wage book and go, this is hella too much. Get rid of that. Get rid of him. Is he good enough? No, get rid of him. Like, I hope they do that as well. Like, just clear out the book, man. Alonso stays when we get sanctioned further and can't fly. We'll need an experienced driver. So I go out and say it as well. Oh my god. Let's move to the midfield. Jorginho.
Yeah, he can go.
You get a taker. You sell.
Does he go? Do you feel that he would go? Or if his agent found the right offer, say from Juventus, for example, do you feel he would go over maybe a potential contract at Chelsea?
I think he would go. I'm just whether or not. I'm not sure if we. Okay, just hear me out. First of all, our midfield right now is basically at the point right now where it's ready for a revolution, right? It's ready to be blown up. Do we have the capabilities of blowing it up right now? Do we? With the new ownership coming in, with the obviously impending, obviously we're gonna have problems with the with just buying players. We're gonna have problems with that in the very near future. Are we going to be able to effectively move on from Jorginho and replace him with somebody that can give us the games that he's given us the last 3 years or whatever? I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, I mean, we got a donation from here. Thank you for the donation, Red, White, and Common New Blue, saying
Big up Jester.
That is
Yeah,
Jester,
Jester.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Big up to Jester. He says financial fair play will now be a 70% salary cap based on revenue. We have the highest wage bill in the Prem.
Yeah.
Going forward, we have to cut non-productive players on high wages and bring in properly scouted players. And do you know what? I don't think you could have said it better. On top of that, we also need to get rid of players that are on highest wages, but I'd also look at that. Sounds stupid, but I'd also look at how much they're playing as well. Like, how do they? Because if the manager's not playing them and they're just sitting on the bench like Ross Barkley and Kennedy, like, what's the point? Like, there's no point of these guys. Thanks for the donation, though, bro. Appreciate that massively. Sorry, Jim, I have problems with equipment. Don't worry, Matty. When you can get in, mate, no problem. Anyone else would write to J5? We'll move to that.
Yeah, I think if there's an offer on the table, you sell Jorginho. I think Couch is right in the sense that our midfield does need a bit of retooling. I think you used the money from a sale on Jorginho to help do that, facilitate that. If you're bringing Gallagher back, if you're able to buy a Tchouaméni or something like that, I think you're serviceable for another year with Mount, Gallagher, Tchouaméni, and Conte. I think that would get you through another season. Kovacic as well. That gets you through another season. Yeah, he's an option, right? If he has maybe they take a look at him
for like cups.
Yeah, they take a look at him in the summer and see, is he worth taking maybe another loan, or has he developed enough to help us in some of those cup games and things like that. But I think if somebody comes in with an offer, if they're willing to give you 35, 40 million for him, you just let him go. I think it makes the most sense.
This is the thing, right? Obviously, like, there's a comment here from Matthew saying Jorginho to rotate with Rice or Tchouaméni. Like, I ain't got to Kante yet, but if Kante left and Jorginho was still up in the air, would it not be better to keep him and then have a Tchouaméni and just have an option as like backup and just start with Tchouaméni and just switch him with Jorginho in certain games? And
if Kante goes, then you can't. The point,
can't lose
like I said, you can't. Like I said at the start, this is going to be a lot of patience. This is not going to be a FIFA standard transfer window in the game where you get rid of 12 players and bring in 12 players. No. It's going to be either or. I don't see both leaving. It's going to be either or. So if Kante goes, Jorginho stays, and vice versa. That's what it's going to be.
And just what the Glare says there, like, he's going to ask for a pay raise. Like, he's at a point in his career right now where he's capped out. Like, he's not going to get a pay raise if he went to Juventus. Like, he's what, 30 something, 31.
Chelsea will give him a 1-year contract soon anyway. So what's the point of being there? Like, we're not going to give him any more than 1 year.
That's as much money as he's going to make right now.
100%. I ain't going to ask N'Golo Kante because we've been talking about him anyway. I want to talk about others. Ross Barkley and Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Ross Barkley's a definite gone, isn't
Josh about Ruben Loftus-Cheek.
This is a bad one for me, man.
Let's go to the interesting one because I think we could all agree Ross Barkley should be out the door. The guy's sitting on
again. If you can find a taker,
he's sitting on $5 million a year at the moment. He's taking the piss, like doing fuck all. But Ruben Loftus-Cheek, because I see something on Twitter about Ruben, and it was talking about what the manager's comments were on his talent and what he possesses, and they all said sort of the same thing. Has all the talent in the world, he's got the potential to become this. It's just that since that Sarri moment and after that injury, he's just not been at it, is he? He's just not that player. He's 26 years old. He's not even young anymore. He's at Christian.
He's our Jesse Lingard. Jesse Lingard.
So, do we again look at him as backup and just switch him around, or do we need to just allow him to go or loan? What are you saying?
You let Josh. I want Josh to answer this.
So I think we're all out on Barkley. I think that's probably a very easy one to say. We'll get it out the way. For me, with Ruben, I mean, I see the same thing all the managers see, man. Just an immense amount of talent. I think he's been put in a bit of a tough spot this year because he's asked to be playing a position that he is just now learning to play. Guys played center back, for Christ's sake, this year at some point. He played right wing back at some point this time. I think he is an 8. If you're asking me what I think he is, an 8, or even maybe like a left wing, even possibly, if you want to get the best out of him. And you put him in an attacking role. He's a huge person. He's a very big guy with the feet of like a 5'7" forward. Like, he's got incredible skill on the ball. I think sometimes, maybe just lack of games, lack of sharpness. Sometimes he can get a little out of hand in the midfield where he'll try a touch too much and maybe lose the ball in a position you wouldn't want that to happen. For me, I think he's a really good squad depth player to have. And I think you've seen that this year. Tuchel has relied on him quite a bit, probably way more than fans would have assumed he would play this year. And that's for a reason. So for me, I would keep him as squad depth. But, at the end of the day, whatever happens. I just think this kid gets an insanely bad rap for being a pretty good player, to be in all honesty.
I have no problem with him being a squad player. We're talking about people who earn a lot of money, and he earns over 100 grand a week to be 5th or 6th choice, if we're being relatively right. And I just don't think financially, when the new owner comes in, I'm paying this guy over 100 grand a week, and he's barely getting any games, right? Because if we look at it, we're talking about getting midfield reinforcements, that pushes him further down the pecking order. And I love Ruben Loftus-Cheek. When he was under Sarri, I thought, yes, this is it. He's going to be our not like Lampard, but Lampard-esque in terms of the power, the pace, the goal scoring. He was going to be our version of whatever. Do you know what I mean? But I just think now we have to cut ties and we have to be ruthless, or else we're going. I'm part joking. He's going to turn out like our Jesse Lingard, but we still talk about him at 29. We're talking at 26 like he's a kid or something. It's just, I think it's time to cut ties. I really do, because I don't think he's going to. He's not a star 26. At this club. He's not a star at this club.
I agree. I don't think he's going to be a starter. Go ahead, Couch. Go ahead. Get your.
No, I'm going to be on your side with this. For the most part, I have a lot of time for Ruben Loftus-Cheek in his preferred role. I have no time for him as a center back. I have no time for him as a number 6. I have no time for him as a right wing back. I think what's going to happen with him is going to be predicated on what happens this summer. Are we going to be able to bring in any midfielders?
Yeah.
I don't know. Are we going to be able to sell any midfielders?
What about Conor Gallagher, though, and people that could have his space?
It depends on how you look at this midfield, right? Because I'm of the belief that even Mason Mount should be considered as a number 8, rather than a number 10 or number 7. He should be a number 8 as well. So again, it's all about who's coming out, who's leaving, and if anyone's coming in. If we don't see if we don't see anybody leave the club, then it'd probably mean that we have to see Ruben leave, just because
formation change as well. Possibly, we don't know what we're going to look like shape wise next year. Could play with 3 midfielders at some point.
But if we see outgoings. If we see outgoings and we don't see anyone incoming, then I still think that Ruben has a role to play at this club. If there's a squad, if we're looking at squad, I'm just saying, if we're looking at the way you assemble a squad, you cannot just flash out four midfielders.
No,
say what you want about the Madrid game. He came out of that game our highest rated midfielder on all the scoring systems. I don't know if you rate that or not, but in all the rated systems, he was the highest rated midfielder on our team.
No,
we were much better in the second half.
And when we look at like everyone's like fawning over like Gallagher, I think he's going to be a good player. He's been good at Crystal Palace, same way how Ruben Loftus-Cheek was good at Crystal Palace. Like you come into a Chelsea squad. I'm serious. If you come into a Chelsea squad now, the stakes are a lot higher. The pressure is greater. Can he rise to that occasion and deliver the way he has at Crystal Palace? It's a completely
My
different
question
game.
is, how many more chances does Ruben Loftus-Cheek need to be playing at Chelsea Football Club until we get to the point now where we actually say he's a good player, but he's just not Chelsea quality? Maybe he's better off at a team that plays maybe once or twice in two.
Yeah, but you still have to get somebody that's better than him to come in again.
Right. I don't think he's hurting us being on the team.
I get that. But again, look, I don't have. See, I like Ruben. I think the issue with Ruben is Ruben, if that makes sense. Like that is literally it for me. Like when I watch him, he's another one like Callum Hudson-Odoi, where he's got so much talent and he could control. If he wanted to on his day, he could literally dictate that game just with his ability. He could really really be a tool for Chelsea, but in the way that Tuchel plays him, and if Tuchel's going to be our manager obviously he's going to be our manager moving forward, and he continues with the 3 at the back with the 4 and whatever. I don't think Tuchel looks at him as an 8. I think from what I've seen, I think Tuchel looks at him as this some called 6, which is not his game. And I feel that if that's what we're going to do with him going forward for the rest of the time that Tuchel's here, then I don't see no reason why he should still be here, because I don't think he's going to be used in any correct manner in any way. And that frustrates me, because I think if you play him a little bit further up where he can link play and just use his pace to drive in and open up the play, do his thing, then yeah, cool. But if you're going to place him out of position and then want him to stay and continue to maybe have half good performances and sometimes stinkers, then I don't think it's a good idea for us moving forward to keep him in. So it's a tough one for me with Ruben Loftus-Cheek.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm going to sound very crazy now. Even this season, I would never play him as a 6 again. I'd play him as an auxiliary striker sometimes, because he was build and everything, just to cross it in.
Listen, I've said this for years. I think he could be.
He's built for it. I think
he could be a good 9, and I'm not even kidding. I think he has all the capabilities to do it. I don't know if it'll ever happen, at least at Chelsea, but
I don't think he's disciplined enough to play as a 6. I really don't. I don't think he's. I don't think he's like built to. He doesn't have the attributes.
It's defensive awareness.
He doesn't think like a 6. He doesn't think.
Exactly.
Like a 6.
That's the thing. Like, I think mentally, once he gets the ball, he's like,
boom,
gotta go, baby. I gotta go. He's not meant to just sit there on it and look around. Like, he wants to go.
Do you know what the difference is now, right? When he picks the ball up as a 6 and he turns, and you can see his automatic reaction is to just run with it and go through 2 or 3 players and make a pass. When you do it deeper in the position that he's in, he's always, I would say, 70 or 80% of the time, is going to probably end up losing the ball at the end of it if he continues to drive with the ball, because may beat one player, but you come up against another midfielder very quickly, especially when they press you so high. But if you're asked to play higher up the pitch where you're finding pockets of spaces and you've got time to turn and drive at the defense with the ball, it's a lot more easier for him to then be used and break teams down than ask him to do it from a deeper position, because as soon as he gets the ball, it's going to be right. We know what he's going to do. He's going to run. Just hit him hard and don't let him get. And that's what I'm saying. I feel like he kind of is a little bit ineffective because of the way we play him.
Yeah,
but
what I mean?
the thing is,
you're right.
with his instincts to want to run at defenses and dribble past and whatnot, he can take those risks further up the pitch. When he's in that 6 role and he's like the last sort of like stopper before we get into our defenders, it's risky, man. And we've seen it time and time again. Like even the last couple of games where he's played there, where he's taken those chances and got burned. Obviously they didn't score, but like they got right into the teeth of the defense. And you can't take those risks there. You want number 6 to be the safe, keep it simple, keep it ticking over. He's not that kind of player.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. Let's move from him, because we have got more 10 positions to talk about. I ain't going to talk about Kennedy and whatever else, because I think we all know that they're just not meant to be here. I want to start with Callum Hudson-Odoi, and I think that's another good one. After talking to Ruben, it's probably another good little chat to have. And for me, and I'll start very quickly because I'll keep it short and sweet. For me, Everything I say about Ruben Loftus-Cheek in terms of his own route of his own downfall is the same with him. Because how many times can we, when Cho, the Chohos, I call him, when the Chohos used to say in the past, he's got so much ability, but he never gets the time and he never gets given the chances. Yeah. And I would be like, all right, fair enough. He has a couple of games here and there, and then he gets put on the bench or he gets asked to play as a wing back. Doesn't work. This season,
Hello. Whoa. Oh, okay.
It's been a long season. It's been a long season.
Yeah. Long season.
Jen's pondering his thought on the.
Jen wanted to say he loves Christensen. He wanted us to tell you guys that he really loves Christensen.
Yeah.
Wants him to sign. Loves him. Everything like that. He's got the number 4 shirt ready.
I'll keep it short and sweet on Callum Hudson-Odoi. It's a loan or sell for me.
I'm getting a message from Jem right now. He's saying that Lukaku is his favorite striker, and he wants him to be playing every game from here out.
He's got a tattoo.
But honestly, for me, Cho, he needs a loan. Like, honestly, I don't even know why they kept him at the club this year. He wanted to go on loan, if I'm not mistaken. He wanted to go to Dortmund, right? They should have just given him that loan.
You're right. He's not had. That's what the others have had. They've had loans. He's not had a loan at all. He's got his big wage, which I wouldn't turn down. So I don't blame him.
You keep him, and then you play him predominantly like still as a wing back. You know, like let him go find his football. Let him go define his role at a different club.
But guys, remember that run he had about 8 games starting, and he was starting to get a little
the Southampton game.
Right?
It was right around that Southampton time, right?
But what I'm saying is that he got that run of like 8 to 10 games, starting to progress well, and then he was just dropped, and I've never understood why he was just like dropped, and then he's been in and out, and then he's had these injuries now, right? He's had these now. How long has he been out now? What? It's been what?
Yeah, probably 5-6 weeks at least.
5-6 weeks, right? And it's the apparently reports it might be the other Achilles, so not even the one he injured.
And his back apparently.
If you get that other Achilles, you're done. You're done because the Achilles is a career ender, right? If you get the other one done as well, you are the mobility of this, and he relies on pace, right? The ability of that player, you know. Listen, I agree. You're right. I would have put him on loan this season.
I mean, he's too young to just say that his career's over for us. You know.
No. If he was to get that, if this other Achilles though was to go, I hope it doesn't. Right, then it's already that one's already gone. It's very hard. It'd be very hard for him to come back. But what were you saying about Christensen? You love him, Jim? Something like that?
You know what? I got a message saying your Virgin box just cut off. And I was like, yeah, perfect timing. And it was flashing. So just come back on now. So, yeah, no, what I'll just basically get, you know, he's been given opportunities. Yeah, he still, for me, is up and down. He dips in form. Do you know what is weird with him? He will start off really well for 30 minutes and then he just disappears. Like, I don't even know he's playing sometimes. I'm like, you can't. Do I think he's a bad player? No, I think he's got loads of talent. I just think he's one player would have benefited from a loan move, and he's the only player that hasn't been given. Like
Jim gone again?
Good.
Oh, he's gone again.
No.
Virgin is terrible, I guess, huh? Yeah, you're back. Okay.
What is going on? Stupid thing. I just feel that you know, a loan might help him. To be honest, I think a loan might help him. And I'm not. Are you still there, guys? Am I just?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. It's ruining my mind because I keep seeing you pausing and then going and pausing. I'm like, what's going on here? I just feel like a loan might help him, and you know, I'm not too sure whether we should continue keeping him at the football club. And I know he's not getting paid. What's he getting? 150k a week? Is he?
120.
120k. You know,
is the base,
I don't think I'm just thinking of Callum Hudson-Odoi right now. I just don't think Chelsea is working for him. I think we need to accept that. Like it's not happening here at the moment.
No, it's a tough squad to break into. Like there's a lot of people that high wages and whatnot and demand minutes as well. He's a young player. I think he needs to go on loan and find his football. That's what I think needs to happen.
Yeah, I agree.
To kick on.
I think he needs to go abroad.
We'll see what happens. You know.
I think he needs to go abroad.
Yeah.
Don't care about Nini.
Echo what you guys said. On the wage that he's on, it's either a loan or a sale for me. I don't know that you can keep him on that wage as a third, fourth wing option that plays every now and again. A loan is probably best bet because it gives him an opportunity, like you said, to develop his game. But if there's nothing there, if there's a right price comes in,
inconsistent. That's what it is. He's like the others that we've got up front that we're going to talk about. They're just not it. You know, when you just start seeing that they're just not actually it.
Yeah,
some
of the things we've
we've got to keep our standards here. Why do we drop our standards for one player? Oh, it's Lacobham.
If he was from I think that's what. If he wasn't from, I'm not saying any of the guys here, but if he wasn't from Cobham, I don't think anyone would really have this type of support for him. Do you know what I mean? I really don't.
Reminds me of Sean Wright Phillips.
No, it's nothing like Sean Wright Phillips. Sean Wright Phillips has just not played a lot. That's the problem.
All right, let's quickly go because we're going to do the lineups in a second. Timo Werner.
Oh, don't even waste your time. Go on.
All right, not going to say too much about him. Hakim Ziyech, because I'll start this. If he was to go in the summer, I wouldn't care. Personally, that's how I feel. He wouldn't bother me if we lost Hakim Ziyech. Like, I again feel that someone who's experienced enough in his prime, I just feel that I don't think this Premier League is for him. Like, I watch him, he's had good games and he has good spells, but he's another one that is very inconsistent in his performances. But we can't rely on him to dig us out of games. And I'm not saying he should do it all the time, but he's not, you're certain key players, especially like him, should be stepping up in certain games. And I just feel that he doesn't look like a guy that's 28. When I look at the likes of Mount and Habit, I don't look at him and go, oh, he's experienced. This is Hakim Ziyech. He's a leader. He's this. I just feel he's good. He's a good player, but he's just not good in the way that we play. And I don't think the Premier League suits him personally. And that's all it is for me.
My wingers need to have pace, man, and he just doesn't have that. When you see him on the pitch, you're trying to break on a counter with him. Like, the first thing he does, he tries to dribble pass, stop, and then whipping across. And when you have that advantage with pace, you have so many options available to you. You can take him down to the byline, you can dribble pass and whatnot. He can't do any of that stuff, and that is key in this game. You need somebody that has pace. He just doesn't have that, especially in those positions where you want to be influential in the final third. If he can't dribble past and uses the ability to get in the eye, then you're limited, and we need.
He can't take a player on. He can't take a player on.
He can't. Even if he's okay on the ball, I think his touch and his technique is okay, but the fact that he can't actually dribble past somebody because he lacks the pace, that's a problem, man. That's a problem for me.
I'm with Jim on.
I think he has useful bits of his games that we can still bring to the fore, but if somebody else comes in, I wouldn't be upset either. I would be like, okay, cool. That means we get somebody else then.
Yeah.
I'm with Jem on this. Complete indifference on Ziyech. If he's here, okay. If he's not here, okay. He doesn't. I don't think he does enough to justify a real argument for me for him to stay.
I agree. I'm not going to let this Indian summer form blind me.
In summer.
Just way too one-footed for me. The cross he put in the Madrid game with his right foot was probably better than, and most of the crosses he's done with his left the last couple of weeks.
That's all he can do, right? Apart from shooting outside the box, which he doesn't do.
He requires a lot of the ball because he's a volume passer. It's gonna take 10, 15, 20 crosses for him to maybe find your head.
But Josh, what his strengths are, which is supposedly his strengths are, which is assisting, he doesn't do good enough anyway for me. He's not even doing what he's good at for me enough. He does it on the occasion, but I don't know, he's just not Chelsea for me, man. I'm
really disappointed. I thought I was really excited when we signed him.
So was I when he came. I was like, the magician. I got sold a dream.
A difference maker. Yeah.
I want to ask this one because Josh is below me. Christian Pulisic.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I think he's worth keeping on the team. I think there are certain things that might have to change as far as style of play to really get the best out of him. the Madrid game is a tough example because I feel like the design of the attack was to strictly punish the right side and to stay on that right side. Yeah, it's tough. I'd like to keep him because I think he's a talented player and he is a clutch player. But there's going to need to be some tactical adjustments in the team to really make him stick and get the best out of him. So
we're not going to get rid of all of them anyway. That's the thing. If Werner goes and Ziyech goes, I don't see Pulisic going, and I don't see someone else. Like, it's just
I don't think we'll clear out 4 or 5 attackers if that's what you're saying. But for me, I'd like to keep him and see how he adapts with a better midfield. I want to see the midfield improve, and then take a closer look at the attack. If we get midfielders who can play balls from deep, that will give me a better idea of how some of these attackers are going to look going forward. So I'll leave it at that.
I agree. Also, I want to see him how he does with a decent left back that isn't Chilwell, because I think that affects him on the left hand side as well.
Good point.
Because let's face it, Alonso's so talk about slow progression. This team, Alonso is part of that. Also, I think Josh, you're right, because I don't know you about Josh, because I obviously I don't watch international football, so I don't know if he plays differently for the States, right? The thing is with Pulisic, I think he's a direct player. Do you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? I don't think he crosses. We've not seen him that, right? He's not that crossing type of player. Right? Not a lot. We don't see it. And also, I think I haven't seen it in Chelsea because maybe I'm only really that lockdown version of him, which is starting to look like an aberration at the moment. But I think he doesn't have a lot of tricks. I think he's a very direct player. But I think if Kai builds more strength and builds more form, maybe he can start to work off Kai. You know, where Kai can hold up the ball or head it on, and that's what I would get Pulisic doing. I'd have Pulisic running beyond Kai. I would have Kai in the centre and have him just on that. Even if we played the two of them up front by themselves, having just that running off, like in the Champions League final when he missed that chance in the second half, when he was just running off Kai, something like that. I think we don't sell him this summer. I think he's the one we have to manage him properly as well. Some of the fitness with these guys haven't been managed properly because of the state of our squad. Yeah, but I don't think you sell Pulisic. I think there's a very good player there.
Yeah, this injury prone stuff is cap as well, man. I don't want to hear that.
It's not. What it is, you know what it is? It's not the amount of injuries. Sometimes it's just the length of them. That's all it is, right?
Yeah.
It's not the amount. It's the length of them.
I get what you're saying as far as protecting the fitness levels and things like that. But the fact to say he's injury prone, I think is cap.
It's just not. He doesn't. Yeah, he's not getting. It's not like Dembele.
How many times has he lost games to his hamstrings?
It's been a season and a half, 2 seasons since he had a hamstring injury.
Yeah,
season and a half. So what happened at the beginning of this year?
He got a tackle in an international game and hurt his ankle. That's what happened.
Yeah,
it wasn't a hamstring.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe that is captain. But anyways, I still think that he's of the players that we have that we're thinking could go. He's probably the one that would fetch the prettiest penny because I still think that he has something to offer. But I don't know, man.
But if the American owner comes in,
he ain't going nowhere.
He ain't going nowhere, man.
Nowhere. He ain't going nowhere.
Alex, we're not going to revolutionize our wing position, anyways. When we have so many holes to fill otherwise.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so.
There's more need. There's definitely more needs.
Yeah.
We've got Alex and Matty with us, but we are going to do the lineup. We was actually meant to be doing the lineup ages ago. I got sidetracked on this, like who should leave Chelsea Football Club players at the moment. And I mean, we'll just quickly go to Alex. Yeah, we've done him already. We're getting to the end of it, but we're on Pulisic at the moment. Do you feel he deserves to stay here, or do you feel like he's another one?
I would like him to stay, but I think he's gonna leave on his own.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's gonna leave on his own.
Why would he? What? Even with an American owner coming in, you still think he'll go?
Why is the American owner has to do it? Like
PR.
I think he's just. I think if he wants to leave, I think he wants to leave.
But I just don't feel that you lose Ziyech, Werner, Pulisic.
I don't think we're gonna lose Ziyech. Ziyech definitely staying.
So no one will take him. That's why.
Yeah,
I don't think he goes anywhere. He's played enough
he
big
got-
games under Tuchel as well. Tuchel relies on him.
Yeah, I think you get
He got the good salary. He got
get
the
rid
good.
of Lukaku and Werner because of the salaries as well. We're talking about 600k or nearly 600k a week to get.
He's at the end of his career. He doesn't have a problem sitting on the bench. Did you hear him complain sitting at the bench?
No, we never do actually.
They're not with that kind of money, yeah.
Yeah,
No
so-
one's gonna give a shit, are they? I know.
I think he's staying.
I know Matty does not like Pulisic whatsoever. Matty, you think he should go?
I think so. I don't think that he's got a place really in the squad. Really, I mean, most of the time.
Who's got his place right now? Who's got his place right now?
Well, I mean, you could put Werner on that side. You could put anybody.
Oh, come on
I would.
now. This is bullshit.
Honestly, man. Let's put it this way.
That's a stinky.
I'm not letting that go, Maddie. You're gonna say you're gonna play Werner over Pulisic? Hold on.
I would put anybody up front than Pulisic. He spends most of the time on the flipping. He spends most of his time on the stretcher. What are you on about? What's he done?
When he's on the
what is he? The American Eden Hazard? Get out of town, man. You know.
Who would you rather see though? Who would you rather see if they both fit, Werner or Pulisic?
Do you know what? Even if you put Mount in that position, I'd rather that than flipping. Hey?
Who would you rather see if they're both fit, Pulisic or Werner?
It depends whose form's better.
It
depends.
Is it the blonde hair?
150,000%.
Matt, is it the blonde hair? Is it the blonde hair that turns you on or something?
Well, I'm ginger, mate, so that don't help. But so I mean, look, what's he done since he's been here? That is my question to you. Why does he get a start? Why is he still here? And why does he warrant a number 10 shirt when you've seen the likes of Mata, Hazard, and Cole before him? What has he done? You know, what has he done apart from being on a stretcher? You know, that is my honest question. And why is he worth 58 to 60 million for?
Matty, he did have a good. I'd say under Lampard, when he came back from the second spell injury, and him and Giroud were so good. And then he that was the season where he pulled his hamstring in the final of the FA Cup against Arsenal. Remember that season? The season.
He's got that's the problem though. He's got biscuit legs, hasn't he? Every time, you know, he's got pink wafer legs. Honestly, he breaks so easy.
Well, one has a biscuit legs that get injured, another has a biscuit legs that turns the finishing. It depends what kind of biscuits you like. You like the finishing.
The German's got a
Listen, I'm going for a pink wafer all day. So whoever's the pink wafer, you know.
To tell you the truth, none of them I actually can replace Hazard. If you trying to compare him to Hazard, it's on you, man. I mean,
well, I mean, you know, let's put it this way, right?
Zola used to have a number 10 too, right?
No, only 25.
Oh, 25.
He's number 25.
That's why no one's numbers had that shirt since, Alex. That's why.
Let's put it this way, right? The only person, in my opinion, that deserves the number 10 shirt is actually wearing the number 29 shirt right now, and that's Havertz. You know, and Havertz could do a really good number in that position. So it's horses for courses, isn't it? But I mean, I think all of this is PR, to be quite honest with you, to keep Pulisic, because we're getting American owners and we get told he's the LeBron James of football. I mean, I don't mean to be funny, but that's an embarrassing comparison.
You're right. What he actually is the Michael Jordan of American football. He's the GOAT.
Oh, get out! Oh, get out! Like Joe Max Moore was, and Brian McBride, Freddie Adu. Do you want me to keep going?
Whoa, those are some controversial names there.
Clint Dempsey. Do you want me to keep going? I can deal with Pulisic lovers. I can tell you, I can deal with them all day. You know, when Eden Hazard was at Pulisic's age.
Compare the two, man.
Yeah, you can.
Mate,
of course you can.
We need to get to the lineup still. I've done an hour and a half already. I'm still talking about these. Go for it. I will do it. You know, at the end of the season, I am actually going to do a debate show again on these players. I am. I'm going to do it. Quick one. Romelu Lukaku, in or out?
Gone.
Good luck.
Goodbye.
He's staying, isn't he?
I'll drive him there myself.
Staying? I don't know.
Going.
Who you
I
rather
will
keep,
drive
Timo Werner or
personally.
Lukaku, Matty?
Hey, I missed that. What was that, Alex?
Who would you rather keep, Timo Werner or Lukaku?
Oh, Werner. I'd rather keep Werner and get rid of Lukaku.
I actually, as much as I hate Lukaku, I would rather keep Lukaku than Timo Werner, man.
Oh, God.
No, I'll pick Werner. I'm sorry, man. I can't have this guy.
No.
Nice.
Like as a
Wait,
player. But,
yeah.
yeah.
All right.
By the way, none of them are leaving.
I can't think of anyone else. We spoke about Ruben, Cho, all of these guys. We spoke about Kepa. We said he was going to leave as well. We said Alonso, obviously, Barkley, all of these names. We spoke about who we think should be gone. And Jorginho, just to make you happy as well, Alex.
Thank you.
Jester's in the house as well. Jester's coming in at a perfect. Jester, have you come to defend Pulisic or something?
Yes,
Oh, you totally
You've been
did.
triggered
You
from the
totally did.
Pulisic comment.
You've done
He
it
said
now,
his
Matty.
name 3
You've done
times,
it
man.
now. Yeah, you've done it now, man.
All right, let's
Yeah,
have
yeah.
Matty and Jester
I'm going on
talk.
mute.
Go on,
Well,
Jester. I'll let you go before we do the lineups. Go on.
That will be
I love
fun.
I really do love the absolute hate one player gets. If it's not him, the other people were going at Mount, acting like they were at fault for giving up 3 goals yesterday. I didn't think they played on defense. So what it usually stems from is a lack of knowledge on how we were playing. So and maybe some of y'all have watched footy longer than me, but I don't think so. How many times do you watch one player take 2-3 players on consistently and beat them? We're not talking about rubbish players. We're talking about Real Madrid players. Go 1-on-3, 1-on-4 sometimes, and think he's going to do something against them. That's not how you're going to be successful. Azpilicueta in the first half never got beyond Pulisic. He never was there for him to play the ball to. Jorginho was never there to be somebody to play the ball off of. He wasn't there. Jorginho doesn't get forward. So, and Aspie was instructed to stay back because basically we played with a back 4 and allowed James to become a midfielder. So we were supposed to attack down the right-hand side. So how are you going to hate on a player that's trying to take on 2 or 3 players, and he's instructed to keep possession of the ball? Well, if you go into a 1-on-3 challenge, you're going to lose possession of the ball 98% of the time. So his only play is to play the ball back and keep possession. I don't understand why people are not aware of the tactics and the formations we use and how players are asked to play. You can hate on.
Is that your defense of Christian Pulisic then? Is this
for that game? Yes.
Okay, but what about his overall career at Chelsea? Like, are you?
Well, let's talk about his overall career at Chelsea. He led our team in goal contributions, or excuse me, assists. His first year here, I believe. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll check the stats.
I'm not following Pulisic that close. I don't know his stats.
Yes. And I believe he has more goal contributions in Champions League football than Eden Hazard. I think he's the first Chelsea player since Didier Drogba to score in both legs of a tie in Champions League. And he's been used in 2 different systems now and played multiple positions. So
and he has more Champions League goals than Eden Hazard. There you go. How about that one? It's a good one.
He does?
Yeah. Yes,
he does.
And he has a goal against Real Madrid, which Hazard never did, unless he scored his own goal.
Or for them, and that for that matter.
And we're talking about a 23-year-old. And the bigger picture is, and people need to understand this, and I know they don't like to they don't want to talk about business. Well, we're going into an era with a 70% salary cap based on revenue. Okay? Mm-hmm. Christian Pulisic's jersey outsells Messi. outsells Ronaldo.
I don't know if that's a factor.
That
That's
is
the marketing,
that
though.
is a big claim. That is a big
know.
claim.
Hey, go look it up.
But Jester,
I don't want to. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it.
All I gotta say is like you're bringing up like Champions League performances and stuff like that, and you're versing that versus Hazard. Hazard had the entire squad, the defensive squad, focused on him the entire game. We had no other weapons that he had to worry about. It was Hazard.
Diego Costa.
Let's put it this way, right?
Diego Costa.
If we have to, when we were under Sarri, right, in his last season, we relied a lot on Eden Hazard. If we rely on Pulisic now, we're screwed. We are absolutely screwed.
You can't compare the two players.
I just don't think why we compare, like literally, why we compare.
Yeah,
I'm not comparing
because the media does.
I'm not comparing the two. You asked me what he's done.
It's American commentators that said he's a LeBron James of soccer, which is stupid. It is stupid, but it's
that
not
was
like
actually a reality TV show that said that. But
even worse, like why English fans are so jumping on that? It's not like I don't know. Like, do you respect?
And if you're talking about American players, he is the best American player we've ever had. So yes, if you're talking about like. He's the best American forward.
Landon Donovan, you're out of
Donovan, yeah.
Donovan couldn't hold his jockstrap, dude. I'm telling you right now, he couldn't hold it.
Dempsey, baby.
Clint Dempsey, what's going on there?
Dempsey,
Come on,
yeah.
Not on his level.
No. Look. I think Pulisic is young. He has still time to prove it, and he will improve it. That's it. I don't think it's fair to this is the most annoying thing about defense when you claim that this kind of youngster is the next Eden Hazard, next Messi. This is which never happens. Those players never turns out to be the people you compare them to be, and that's like if you will look at Lukaku's numbers under 18 when he was at. There's Messi, like there's no conversation who's best young player ever existed. Haaland was people like, oh my God, Haaland numbers compared to Lukaku numbers when he was young, not even comparable.
Go have is something else, man. I love
this guy, man, for real.
Guys, we do need to get into this lineup. We've been going through players. We do need to talk about this supposed lineup for tomorrow's game as well. Josh, I know you said you've got to shoot, so if you do have to go, just
I got a few minutes.
All right, cool, wicked. So the first question I have for you guys, I'll just keep it open rather than ask you whatever, is what formation are we playing tomorrow? Are we sticking to the 3 at the back, or do you think we will switch to the 4 again in this game? What do you think?
I think you go with tried and trusted. We're at the end of the season now.
Probably a 3-4-3.
I don't want to see any experimenting at all in terms of formation. So.
Oh my God, there he is! Happy birthday, by the way, for tomorrow. If I don't speak to you,
I don't think it's real him.
Is it not him?
No,
haven't you modded him?
AC leaving and the Hazard going. Yeah.
I mean, you modded him, Jim.
He will not accept. He will not accept AC leaving that easy.
That ain't him. I just noticed, because I did mod him. Yeah, so that isn't him. Isn't him, guys? It's a fake account. Back to this 3-4-3 then. Yeah, we stick to a 3-4-3 because Lukaku and Ziyech potentially may not be available. Is what Thomas Tuchel's saying. So.
I don't think even if they are available, they ain't getting in the squad.
Actually, it's Lukaku, Ziyech, and Callum.
Yeah.
Callum's not been available.
Why was Callum? What did Callum hurt? His feelings?
No, he got tendonitis in his other Achilles that he didn't tear.
Ooh,
oh right, so he's following suit of Christensen as well, just fake injuries basically. All right,
tendonitis is nothing to deal with.
That's a real injury.
I don't know.
Let me ask you one big question:
on that.
Does Mendy come back in, or does he need to be rested and Kepa plays his game?
For me, needs to be dropped.
Kepa.
I think he needs to be rested. I think Kepa needs to go in. To be honest, give him a rest because then you've got Real Madrid then in the next game, haven't you? So you might as well give him some rest, really, won't you?
But at the same
I
time,
don't think rest. I think he needs to be like sit one game and not drop him off completely. He needs to go back to Real. But here's
the thing, though. Okay, there's two things to consider here. You're going to drop him when he's out of form. Not going to give him the opportunity to find his form, and then you're going to play him in the biggest game of the season.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like that to me is kind of weird.
That's
know?
true.
Like,
So
the
you're
idea-
thinking
That's
like
true.
you're
I'm
thinking
thinking
like
give him the
working through.
opportunity maybe to find his form against Southampton and then have some confidence going into Real Madrid rather than just like throw him into the Lions Den of
I
Bernabeu
agree with
after he's
Couch.
been pretty shit the last couple of games, right?
What
Right.
about
Unless
if
he
he will
bobbles
have a
this one.
stinky tomorrow? Yeah.
So then do you play Kepa against Real Madrid?
Yeah,
You
know
but
what?
tomorrow's
If
game is more.
if Mendy
Tomorrow's game is important than Madrid, actually.
if
Yeah.
Mendy's
One-
going to continue to play crap
Not
at
more
his feet,
important, but at the same like tomorrow's
I
game is
agree.
important.
I agree.
if he's going to continue to play like that with the ball at his feet, you're going to have serious concerns because he limits the way you can play because you can't expect him to hit anybody up the pitch with a pass. You can't, and this is he's not very good with the ball at his feet. Let's be totally honest. It's a very big weakness in this game. So if you want to get the ball moving faster, you can play direct out of the back with Kepa. That's the one thing he is very good at. Yes, he's made mistakes at his feet, but he's still a better ball player in that aspect than Mendy is. So
Not happening. Not happening. All right. So Kepa, Mendy, who are we going for then? Oh, do you know what? I'll pick.
Maybe
Fred.
he should not play from the back. Maybe he couple of times needs to clear it out
I think he's
and
not.
get
I don't
his
think,
confidence.
Just boot
How do you,
it.
how do you
Just
build
boot
the
it out,
action?
and it's
Nobody
it.
build
Boot it, yeah.
Yeah, but then the ball's coming right back at you. Though.
Yeah,
You don't have the
it's
ability
we're
to hold up the
possession-based
ball.
No.
team.
I'm not saying like every
Not all the
every
time.
ball needs to
Not
be
all the
booted
time,
out.
Yeah, not all the
Yeah,
time,
but get your confidence by
Sometimes.
not getting too close,
Yeah.
like a close calls. Don't be inventive. Like don't split the attackers and pass it from between them. Don't pass it to Jorginho either.
Look, I think Kepa can potentially come in this game, but I agree with Couch. I feel like he is not in great form. But if I'm Tuchel and I'm thinking to myself, right, Real Madrid on Tuesday, he's going to play that game. Do I play him into form, hoping that he finds his form in this game? Or do I drop him and play Kepa and just hope that he finds a great form in the game against Real Madrid? I think he starts, personally. I don't think he gets dropped in this one.
Oh, I think he doesn't get dropped, but he should be.
Okay, fair enough. Back three. Who is your back three? Because for me, I think Thiago Silva needs a rest, personally.
Absolutely.
Definitely needs a rest.
I would play Rudiger
By the way, is that a away game or home game?
Away.
Great.
What about Malang Sarr? Does he get in today, or do you? Oh, yeah,
I think Sarr will start. I think Sarr will start just because of rotation.
In the back three?
No,
Yeah.
he ain't.
Who do you?
What about Chalobah? Is he fit?
It's going to be
I think
Rudiger.
Chalobah starts on the right.
I think it's going to be Rudiger, AC, and Chalobah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that should
You
be.
think
That
So
should
do
be
I.
still
good.
starts?
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
All right, Chalobah, AC in the middle. Yeah.
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 Because I don't want to see Thiago Silva on the pitch.
So what he did on the right.
Yeah, I don't want to see him on the pitch because he needs the rest.
Yeah, Thiago needs for
Does
sure needs a
Rudiger
rest.
need a rest? What about
I wouldn't
Rudiger?
even take
Rudiger's not
Thiago
had a
in
rest.
the
Why can't we
squad.
throw Malang Sarr in there? No.
Okay, so you want to lose the game.
Yeah, come on.
Well, yeah, we're already playing.
Well, we
Kepa,
already conceded 7 goals with Rudiger in it.
We
Yeah,
need some
well-
kind of character. We need some kind of character. I'm sorry, but
I-
Christensen and Chalobah is not a characters.
There's something to be said for not making too many changes, right? You're already bringing in
Yeah.
2 different center backs. So if you bring in a third center back, then you're starting a triplet that, when was the last time they started together?
That's a good point, and probably
no
the
idea,
reason why you're going to probably see Thiago Silva in this match as well.
Oh no.
I think he's the one that will get the rest. Whether
Yeah,
it's
I
you
think that would
can't
be
now,
it.
you can play Aspie instead of Rudiger.
Yeah, you can play as
You could play Aspie instead of Rudiger.
Well,
instead
Aspie
of
in
Rudiger.
here, but then that means all right. that means
No.
Reece-
Aspie on the left.
You put instead of Rudiger.
He ain't gonna do that.
Well, you
No,
could. If
that's
you're
not gonna
asking
happen.
me to rest Rudiger, I would put Aspie there before I would put Sarr
Nah,
there because
I
Aspie
think
plays left back. He's played left wing back, so
Yeah,
you
I
know
don't-
he has some idea how to play on the left hand side.
he's playing. He's playing
Christensen
Malang
will
Sarr.
have a more chance playing on the left side than Azpilicueta. Christensen can actually play on the left side if Rudiger is going to be arrested.
I think Malang
But-
Sarr still plays.
I don't think. I think we're going to play back 4, but that's another story. But
Oh my
Yeah, I
God.
think we might
Back
too. I
four.
have a feeling.
we can't be
Oh
playing the back four.
Jesus Christ!
We can't
Almighty.
be.
I have a feeling we might go to the back 4.
All right,
Good
that's
Lord.
up for debate. Rudiger, Christensen, Chalobah, Aspie, whatever. We don't know, do we? We know what it's like being a Chelsea fan.
Sarr is going to be on the left wing back, and James is going to be right.
I want Sal.
Sal. You want Sal?
I forgot we have Saul.
I
forgot we have
Look at how shit is this squad. Jesus Christ.
Well, in the beginning of the season, we thought that we title contenders.
We
Remember
got
that?
2 11s. We got 2 11s of shit. That's what we got.
I think Alonso plays this game, guys. I'm not going to lie. He didn't play against.
He didn't play.
Bamford.
If we do,
The problem is that I'll start to vomit if I say his name. So I had to fix that one.
We all feel like that.
Just call him
Southampton player that Chelsea wants.
Call him Al for short. Just call him Al.
Right,
Al,
fullback. What's his name? Livramento.
Yes.
He's gonna play against Alonso, right?
Later, Josh.
See you, Josh. So Livramento is gonna play against Alonso.
Livramento, yeah. Unfortunately, yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
So Reece James, one of the things I worry about with him is that when he came back the first time round, we rushed him back in. He got injured. We're now again rushing him in and playing. And the games are coming thick and fast. He's playing game after game. I know he's important, but are we just doing too much of him again? Like, could Aspie potentially play there and just give
It could be actually. It's a away game. We could be more defensive in the beginning.
That's the problem.
Who they have that's going to bomb down the left-hand side?
It doesn't matter if they play through the middle actually. So I think it's more put in the middle than.
Well, my only thing was you could see James at right center back and Aspie at right wing back.
Nah.
Yeah.
And then you might see that on Tuesday as well for Vinicius.
I think we lose Reece James's ability when you play him there.
But we're going to be doing it for defense. We did it in the final.
But offensively, we need goals, Jester, and I think Reece James offensively would be better in a Real Madrid game, being further up the pitch, than ask him to play at the back. Aspie can't do it, can he? We know he's not any great going forward with the ball, But I don't know. It'll be interesting. What about the midfield? Because Kante is out of form. Jorginho's having stinkers. Kovacic doesn't play games. I don't know why. I think he should be playing. So who's playing?
Kovacic has to start.
I
don't care. Like, he has to start this game. This is getting ridiculous now. The fact that he didn't even play against Brentford and then they didn't start him in the Champions League, Tuchel, man.
No, I actually think he wasn't fit for 90 in either one of those games. I saw a report. It was
playing from the start then.
No, you don't ever do that. You don't ever play. No, you don't play a player not fit for 90 from the start. You just don't do it because you're full to burn a sub.
Where did you hear that he wasn't fit? First of all,
it was on Twitter, and I can't remember who did it. Who
came
said
out in
it?
both games, and if I'm not mistaken, he gave us what
45 in both.
45 in both.
Yeah. That
That's
tells me
weird.
that there's an injury.
He did came back from the COVID, right? 1 point.
I am not. I mean, they're not reporting much of that anymore, so you never know.
I thought it was in England. I didn't think it was in Florida.
So if anyone read
Florida
that in the chat,
report.
the Nick Candy Matt Law tweet was a joke. Okay?
Who plays next to
Candy's not-
Kovacic then?
Well, we don't have it.
That's the
I play
big
Ruben.
Ruben Loftus-Cheek?
I
Did
play
that
Ruben.
happen? Even I don't see
He
him.
plays really well with Kova, and actually they played that last game at the bridge together against Southampton and bossed that midfield together. So I'd go Ruben, but I know he's not. It's going to be Jorginho.
I don't think
It's going to be Bambi.
I don't think Jorginho plays today.
I think he's gonna be Bambi.
You think it's going to be who?
Bambi.
Bambi.
You know,
Jorginho.
the guy that ain't got no legs?
Oh, is that what we call Bambi? Is that what you call him? Oh, okay, you're calling him Bambi now. Okay, Ruben.
Yeah. No, not Ruben. J5.
Who? Oh, why is he?
Bambi.
Oh,
Jennifer.
nah, he ain't. Nah, he's not Bambi.
Do you call him
Bambi's got
Bambi
pace,
because
man.
do you call him Bambi because every time you see him in the starting lineup you go, oh dear? Is that what it is?
Yeah, no, I want to shoot him. Yeah.
Oh,
I
that's
hunt
too
deer.
soon,
I'm
man.
sorry.
That's
What
too
can
soon,
I do?
man. Too soon, man.
Front three, guys. Obviously, Mount is in no form. Pulisic isn't having a great game. Havertz is the only one there. Ziyech may not be fit. Lukaku,
May
after
not be
heading the
fit.
ball and hurting his neck.
It
may
should
not
be
fit.
same as the Real Madrid Pulisic.
We don't have any other options unless you're going to play Ross Barkley or
Ross
Kennedy.
Barkley. You want that? Do you want?
Oh, we
Christ
have
almighty.
Kennedy.
Good
I'll take
Lord.
Kennedy versus Alonso.
Shit versus mega shit. That's what that is.
Do you know what I mean?
Hey, Kovacic and Saul.
Pulisic,
Oh my
Mount,
God.
Havertz. Is it our best three?
Yeah, Pulisic, Havertz, Mount. It should be.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
In this formation, it's our best three.
Havertz.
Mount running to the
Or
ground.
is
Mount
Matty
running
still
to the
here?
ground
Maybe
even
his
more.
wish will come true. The Blondie with blue eyes might will start actually.
What about
I think
Timo
he
Werner?
will.
Yeah.
Alex, I think you're right. I think Werner starts tomorrow. I think Werner starts.
Who for?
Another one I can't say without throwing.
I know, but the problem is because we lost last week. He's now in a quandary about who to start, and I fit Mount's in the red
Werner's
zone,
playing.
man. He's in the red zone. I wouldn't start Mount because I don't think you'll get anything from him tomorrow. I really
I just don't think anybody. You don't get nothing from Mount, but
Exactly.
I don't think
You get nothing from anyone else. You get less
Anyone
than
else.
nothing. You get less than nothing. It's how shit
Exactly.
this squad is. man.
Again,
Absolute shit.
you're talking about a guy who hasn't been injured, but that's okay.
Oh,
You
absolute
can keep
crap.
that.
Absolute crap.
Werner will start this game. I've got a feeling. I forgot
What?
about him. I named
No way.
everyone. I forgot about him. He will. He
I
will
wouldn't be
start.
think he's a
surprised.
forgotten
Actually,
man
I
now.
wouldn't be
I think
surprised.
he's a forgotten
He
man.
will start. I'm telling you.
He will
Pulisic
start, but you
Mount will
won't
be
remember
rested.
him starting.
Well, he's going to play one way or another because if Lukaku and Ziyech are not fit, unless you're going to play the academy kid, what's his name?
Saul will probably get in there before.
Cup of
Werner.
soup,
No. What's
Harvey Vale.
Vale?
Hardy well, yeah.
Unless you're going to
What's
play
happening?
Harvey Vale, bring Harvey Vale in as a substitute.
Oh my
Because Havertz
God.
is going to have to come off the pitch at some point.
Yes, because he'll get run into the ground as well, and he'll get.
He's
injured.
playing too many games. You know that. But
He
I'm a bit
is.
worried about that. He's playing well too many.
And
games.
when we say Havertz plays, he plays the entire minute,
Yeah,
90
he plays
from box
90.
to box. He's
The
a
guy has an
shooting-
engine, man. The guy has an
Yeah.
engine. To be fair, he did not give up at that Real Madrid game. He did not give up.
Oh, he was everywhere.
That's
I
the
was there.
problem. He was overexerting
He was
himself,
right back at one
Alex.
point, fighting Vinicius off the ball.
Well, to be fair, he was taking a rest first half of the season.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. He needs to clear out. I mean, if
6 month
Ziyech is
break.
available, does he come in? Maybe potentially for Mount. I don't know.
It's not like
Lukaku
he's been
fit.
tearing up grass the last few games either.
If Lukaku's fit, does he start over Havertz tomorrow?
Why?
Ugh.
Nope. You already read his comments, man. You read his
I'm
comments out.
thinking from the fact of Real Madrid. Tuesday?
Do you know what I
As well.
hate doing? You know I hate doing these lineups because it just reminds me how shit this squad is. I hate doing, you know what I mean? How rubbish. some of these
I'm gonna
players
get out
are.
your faces. Let me get out your faces. You're probably
Yeah,
making it
good
hard for you
Lord.
guys.
I
You know what
don't
mean?
care anymore. Just win the game. Like,
Just
This is
make
the
it,
thing. for
make it,
performance
make
goes out
it
the window,
end.
isn't it?
Just make it
make it
end.
end. Just pull the
Well, I
plug,
see.
man. Pull the
We
plug.
see earlier at Winter Surfer in the chat, people were saying about they're not too worried about like they just want a performance. They're not too. I'm the other way. I want us to just win. I
Just
don't care.
win.
I don't, I don't care
don't
about
care.
performance. The result
Just
is
win the
all
game.
that
We're in no
matters.
real form. We've
Yeah.
conceded 7 goals in our
Yeah.
last 2 games. You know what I mean? Try and keep a clean sheet and win the game. That I don't
Yeah.
care if it's 1-0. Do you know what I
Back to
mean?
the
But
basics, man. Back to the basics. Play defensively.
back to the
sound.
basics.
Build
Thank you.
from there.
Can we get rid of the FIFA glitch that Mendy's been having? He's been beat it 3 times at his near post.
Yeah. I
You're
don't know.
not supposed to get beat at your near post.
You're not
I don't
supposed
know
to
why.
get beat from like up top of the 18 or from
By
a
a
header.
header.
either.
No.
All right, score predictions. So we'll finish off over 2 hours now. The show's been going. I mean, Winter Surfer, what's your score predictions?
1-0. Chelsea.
Have it.
I don't care. I honestly
Just
do
score.
not care. Just get the job done, get the 3 points, and focus on Madrid. I really don't care.
Couch?
2-1.
2-1. He thinks we're going to succeed another goal. Jester?
3-1.
Wow. Confident.
3 goals. Good Lord.
Fair enough.
Southampton's not great on defense.
They're not better, but just us scoring 3 goals, I'm surprised by that.
I mean, we're not great. We're not great at attacking, so that's the other thing as well. Alex?
5-0. Lukaku hat trick with and 2 penalties from Jorginho.
He's seriously taking a piss now.
You know what? He'd done that once. I'm not joking. He'd done that once. He did hat trick Jorginho, and he scored 2 penalties, and it was like the first half. And I was like,
And he should have got the third one. He should have had
Yeah.
the penalty for that.
Uh,
The referee was like, "No, I ain't giving 3 penalties to same team in one game."
I don't think we can see tomorrow. I know it sounds really stupid. I think we can see 7 goals, but I think we won't concede tomorrow. I'm going with a 2-0.
Masterclass, man.
Yeah, I'm going with a 2-0. I'm going with 2-0. I think Havertz.
Broja cannot play against us, Sosa. You need the.
And look, they've got no Broja. Livramento will be playing. James Ward-Prowse can be a problem from free kicks and corners. Is there much else with them, really?
Just don't foul him.
Very high intensity team. So I'm telling you, midfield. Midfield. If Jorginho plays, we're gonna be overrun.
I think he was waiting.
Would you put Saul on the midfield if you're not going to play him as a wing back?
I will put Ruben Loftus-Cheek actually.
Okay. I mean, like I put the stats in there. We played with Kovacic and Ruben the last game. Ruben was a 7.3 with an assist. Kovacic was a 7.3. They played well together in that match.
Yeah,
I will say, let's caveat that. Let's put that result into context. They did get a red card for us to beat them in that first game.
And to be fair,
Timo Werner remember Ruben in that game, though, right?
No, I remember Ruben in the game. I'm just saying the result.
It flattered. The scoreline flattered.
We started playing better when.
Guys, don't also forget though, Timo Werner was the man. He stepped up, 2 goals in that game. What I'm saying, he's going to play tomorrow. He's going to do it again. Don't worry about it, Timo. It's got us.
Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
This guy, no. If this guy was a blind squirrel, he'd walk into a tree every time. He wouldn't find his nuts.
I said a blind squirrel.
No, I'm talking about if Timo Werner was a blind squirrel, he wouldn't find any nuts. He'd walk into a tree. That's what all the time. Be like that.
Guys, make sure you smash the like button as always. Thank you for tuning into the channel as always. Over 2 hours in. Subscribe if you're new as well. You can find all these guys everywhere, really. They're on Lewis's channel, you probably know. They're on here, they're on there, and here, there, everywhere. Alex is here, there, everywhere, and Jester is here and there. And Lorenz's channel, we're all everywhere. So there's no point in me saying you'll just see us around anyway. Couch Critic though, go and follow Couch Critic's YouTube channel, man, because that is some serious stuff. Like some of the breakdowns that he does over there are proper intense, man. You've got to get into
It's only getting intense because we've been playing so shit.
Oh, by the way, Gio Reyna did his hammy.
Who?
Gio Reyna.
Who's that?
Dortmund American player.
Yeah, he did his hammy first touch of the game.
Sorry to hear.
Fair enough.
Why is it affect us Southampton game tomorrow?
It doesn't.
No, Jess is just watching it. I guess.
No, I was watching Sosa because we're looking to buy him in the summer.
Oh, okay.
And
this is Couch Critic's YouTube link, people. So go and click that before you leave as well, and give him a follow on YouTube if you can, please. I'll be back for the reaction, probably Sunday. Saturday, I won't be around in the evening. I don't know. We'll see. I'm always busy on the weekends, but we'll see what happens. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be safe. Hopefully Chelsea win the game. Up the Chelsea. Let's get the result that will lead us into the Real Madrid game, which we will go and win 3-4-1 like we did back in the games against Napoli when we lost 3-4-1 before. Positivity outsets are the best way to look for these times, guys. Take care of yourself. See you later. Peace out.